Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
Welcome to Pittsburgh, PA, home of the great one, Roberto Clemente, Pops, Willie Stargell, and the We Are Family Pirates. These buccos play at beautiful PNC Park, where the D-backs roll in for the second stop on our 10-game road trip to face a Pittsburgh team with the third best record in baseball. It's the Diamondbacks and the Pirates on Fox Sports Arizona. Greetings from PNC Park. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthew, Bob Brentley along the way. It's the Diamondbacks and the Pirates, the first of a three-game set. This Pittsburgh team really playing good baseball right now. They are 23 games over 500. That's a season high. And, Bob, they've got a few guys in this lineup that are rolling right now.
Yeah, historically, the Pirates have always been an organization that likes those guys that hit the ball hard, and they've got a bunch of guys in this lineup raking right now. Pedro Alvarez is hot over there at first base. He's equaled last year's home run total already this season. Gregory Polanco, their young right fielder, has been red hot as well. See the numbers well over 400 recently, and the guy we've been trying to learn his name all afternoon, Jung Ho Gung, having a great year at shortstop for the Pirates. Just three of many offensive superstars they run out there on a nightly basis.
And they have their ace on the mound tonight, the former #1 overall pick, Garrett Cole, who's in the top 5 in the National League in ERA. He's up against Jeremy Hellickson. I guess we just have to score 11 runs in the second inning for Jeremy again. That'll work.
He wouldn't mind that one bit. He really pitched with a lot of confidence. Of course, when you have a big lead in the ball game, you can do that, but you see the numbers last time out against the Philadelphia Phillies. If you throw out the bad start against the Houston Astros not too long ago, his ERA is under 2 against National League teams over his last 5 starts.
So this one should be fun. It's a beautiful night here along the shores of the Three Rivers, and we are set for baseball. Diamondbacks and Pirates here on Fox Sports Arizona. Slug it in the Steel City. Garrett Cole versus Goldie. First pitch next. Stand by. Influence of the Allegheny, the Monongahela, and Ohio Rivers. It's PNC Park in Pittsburgh, PA. The first of 3 against the hot-hitting Pirates. Steve Berthew, Bob Brentley, and Todd Walsh along the way as we are awaiting the start of this ball game here. The first of a 3-game series on a gorgeous summer evening in downtown Pittsburgh. It's the Diamondbacks and the Pirates. D-backs taking on a Pittsburgh team that is 14-2 against the NL West this year. That includes their sweep of the Diamondbacks at Chase Field back near the end of April. Take a look at the lineup for Chip Hale's Diamondbacks. They're out against big right-hander Garrett Cole.
Late position change. Ender Inciarte starting in left field tonight. A.J. Pollock out in center. Paul Goldschmidt at first base. David Peralta over his last 7 games has been as hot as any hitter in baseball. He'll be out in right field tonight. Wellington Castillo doing the catching. Jake Lamb at third base. Chris Owings at second. Nick Ahmed at short. And Jeremy Hellickson on the mound.
And the Pirates, one of the best teams in baseball, the 3rd best record in the major leagues, a season high 23 games over 500. And they are very good here at home. They've won 4 straight and 15 of their last 18 at PNC Park. As we're set to get going here, we just need the Pirates to take the field.
Garrett Cole making his way up that top step of the third base dugout. Looks like they're ready to take the field.
And we are set for Diamondback baseball. Garrett Cole and Jeremy Hellickson. After the D-backs lost 2 of 3 over the weekend at Turner Field against the Atlanta Braves. Your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the Pirates is the big right-hand power pitcher Garrett Cole, the #1 overall pick in the draft by the Pirates 4 years ago out of UCLA, and now simply one of the best starting pitchers in the league. Here's D-back skipper Chip Hale.
Well, I think the big word that we used in our meeting today is he competes. I mean, whether his stuff is good that night or he's missing a lot of location, which we've seen him do, he just competes like a maniac. And so we're going to have to match that competitiveness. And so it'll be exciting.
Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole, his 3rd season in the big leagues. He has reached that ace level. 14 wins ties him for the major league lead. His ERA 6th best in the National League, although the command has not been quite as sharp this month as it has been throughout the year.
That was probably too much to expect him to maintain the pace he had in the early part of the season. He was just dotting that catcher's mitt on both sides of the plate with all of his pitches. You see, he does throw a changeup, not very often. He does throw a curveball, not very often. Mostly a 4-seam fastball and that hard slider.
Since Garrett Cole debuted in June of 2013, only Kershaw, Greinke, and Bumgarner have won more games in the National League. This guy has really stepped up and been their ace. And now we are set to go. First of 3 here in Pittsburgh. And Ender Inciarte will lead it off. Take a look at the Pirates defensively around their big right-hander tonight.
Be an outfield of Starling Marte in left, Andrew McCutchen in center, Gregory Polanco over in right field, veteran Aramis Ramirez at third base, Jung Ho Kang at shortstop, Neil Walker, the local boy, does good, playing second base, Pedro Alvarez over at first, Francisco Cervelli doing the catching for right-hander Garrett Cole.
And here is Ender. Crucci, Field, and Culbreth is our plate umpire. We are set to go. There's strike 1. Inciarte, 298 and 3 home runs. Well, we were blessed with terrific weather in Atlanta, and we have got Chamber of Commerce conditions here tonight. It is just gorgeous along the river here in downtown Pittsburgh.
Understand it's a little hot back in the valley. Take care back there. Take care of your neighbors.
Hang in. This is on the ground to Gong at shortstop. 1 away.
Well, I half joked that we spent most of the afternoon trying to figure out how to pronounce that young man's name, but it's kind of funny because even around the ballpark here you get different answers depending on who you talk to, but we believe it's Jung Ho Kang, as in gung ho.
Yeah, everybody was very helpful, but everybody gave us a different answer. So here we are. Here's A.J. Pollock. They get the gist. What?
From this point forward, he'll be known as the Pirates shortstop.
A.J. Pollock, 313 and 12 homers, leading the National League in runs scored, part of his All-Star season. And A.J. back in there after a rare day off yesterday against the Braves. AJ, an 8-game hitting streak, batting .424 during that streak. 6 extra base hits, 11 runs scored. It's this toward the right field corner. Polanco's out there. He's in front of the wall, and that ball is off the wall. A.J. Pollock is going to get third here, and A.J. is in there with a triple. That's his 5th triple. Just missed a home run on that 21-foot high wall in right field.
And you can get some cheapies down in that right field corner. It's only .320 to the base of the wall out there in right field. But as you mentioned, a 21-foot high wall is a salute to Roberto Clemente, who patrolled right field here for years. And Polanco just couldn't corral it off that fence, and A.J. ends up with an easy triple.
Well, he is having a sensational second half of the year. So he's at third, one away for Goldie. Still leading the majors in hitting at .337. And still tied with Nolan Arenado for the NL RBI lead. Goldie and Bryce Harper, the only players in baseball with an OPS over 1,000. There's a strike, 1-1.
That was the 35th triple of the season for the Diamondbacks. That's the most in the National League. David Peralta leads the National League with his 8 triples. The runaway train.
Freight train on deck. That's in the seats and out of play. Goldie just crushes the ball in this ballpark. He loves to hit here. 10 career games at PNC Park. He's hit .425, 7 extra base hits, 8 RBIs. And some pretty good company there. He is 17 for 40 at PNC Park career. Down 1-2.
Good opportunity to jump ahead here early in the ball game, something the Diamondbacks have been very efficient doing recently, jumping ahead. They'd have to hit a little better with runners in scoring position in this series than they did in the series back at Chase Field earlier this season. Diamondbacks scored 2 total runs in the series. They only had 1 extra base hit. They went 2 for 21 with runners in scoring positions against the Buccos back in Arizona.
Yeah, Pittsburgh just dominated that entire series start to finish. But that was a long time ago now. Here we are, middle of August.
Yeah, different team.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Pollock at third. Tough take by Goldie. It's even 2-2. That one didn't miss by a whole lot. At least from up here.
Just
got him. First strikeout for Garrett Cole. 2 down.
the thing about Garrett Cole, he doesn't really need a great breaking ball because he throws so hard with that fastball in the mid to upper 90s, but his slider is a close second to his fastball if you were grading him out. Really good, hard, late breaking slider.
Here's David Peralta, 304 and 12 home runs. That OPS more than 120 points over what it was last year. OPS, of course, is the on-base percentage plus the slugging percentage. And David, during his last 10 games, is red hot. Nearly 380 as well with runners in scoring position. AJ at third, 2 outs. 0-2. Last 10 games for David, he's hit .500.
That's pretty good.
17 hits in his last 34 at-bats.
Well, we've seen a little bit of everything, but they've all been hit right off the barrel of the bat. We've seen him pull balls down into the right field corner. We've seen him pull balls out of the ballpark. We've seen him drive them the opposite way, including a grand slam to the opposite field back at Chase.
Misses at 98, up and away, 1-2. David, 3 hits, including a home run over the weekend at Turner Field. And he also walked 3 times in that series. Always good to see. .98 away, lays off again. This was David Saturday against Mike Foltynewicz.
A hanging breaking ball and just absolutely crushed it to right field. He was pointing up at us in the booth right there.
He always does. I don't think he could see us up here. This rivals Washington for altitude. Along the left field line, Ramirez and Marte give it a look, and it drops in between them. Too long a run for Starling Marte and Aramis Ramirez coming over from third, the former Brewer.
Boy, a nice crowd for a Monday night here in Pittsburgh. It is a beautiful night. Once the sun went down, it cooled off a little bit.
Walk over the ballpark, or to the ballpark, over the Clemente Bridge from downtown Pittsburgh, just across the river. One of the best setups. There we are. Our hotel's in there somewhere. This is a great place to come and watch a few baseball games.
We've talked about it every time we come here to Pittsburgh. If you have the wherewithal to make a road trip and follow your Diamondbacks, we would highly recommend a visit to Pittsburgh.
2-2. Peralta sends it toward the corner. That's a fair ball, and it's 1-0 Diamondbacks as Pollock scores. Polanco kicks it around to the warning track, and David Peralta stay hot. That's his 22nd double. Another big 2-out hit for Peralta.
Boy, and not a cheapie among the bunch recently. Another ball squared up, hit right off the base of the wall out there near the out-of-town scoreboard. And the freight train's on the tracks.
Get that diesel cranked up. He thought he might have a shot at third when Polanco dropped the ball against the wall there on the track, but decided instead to stay put at second. So he's in scoring position now for Wellington Castillo. There's a strike, 0-1. Castillo, 240 for the year with 15 home runs. 13 of those homers coming as a Diamondback. .97 misses inside. It's a ball and a strike.
You know, Wellington's had a measure of success against Garrett Cole. They faced each other when Welly was a member of the Chicago Cubs. 4 for 11 lifetime with a double. The .364 batting average against Garrett Cole. That's bragging rights.
A 20-pitch first for Cole, and still one more out for him to get. That one gets away from Cervelli, and Peralta moves up to third. Francisco Cervelli back there, clanked it right off the glove. He's done a really good job this year after Russell Martin went to Toronto, but this one was just a miss.
Right off the webbing of the glove over into that first base on deck circle, allowing Peralta to move up 90 feet. We saw how important that was in that Atlanta series, moving up 90 feet.
They have changed that now from wild pitch to pass ball. This is in the air, left center field. Long run from McCutchen. He won't get there. Peralta scores. Beef Wellington is in its first. He's going to stop halfway to second. Decided discretion was the better part of valor there. It's an RBI single for Beef, and it's 2-0 Diamondbacks. He was on a dead run coming around first and put the brakes on.
Well, that's absolutely the way you should do it. Hit the ball hard in the gap. Take a big turn over there at first base. It plays right in front of you. He could have run a little harder to first base. Just decided to turn it on right there and then realized he was going to run into an out at second base. So he heads back to first with an RBI single.
3 hits and 2 runs in the first inning against the Pirates ace Garrett Cole. And here's Jake Lamb. So the Diamondbacks have scored 2 runs, Bob, in a half inning here, the first half inning of the series. That's the same number of runs they scored in the entire series against Pittsburgh back in April at Chase Field.
Way ahead of the game.
0-1 to Lamb. Make it 0-2. Jake, 276 and 4 homers. Good start against a really good pitcher. Tied for the major league lead in wins, Garrett Cole, with 14. Gets a piece of 98. Boy, he is consistently way up there in that stratosphere. And he has become a legit #1 this year for a reason. And there they are. That's one of them. A radar gun.
Throwing your breaking ball 86 to 88 miles per hour and a fastball in the upper 90s. Yeah, that'll light up a radar gun.
That's in the seats. Well, Cole opened up the year by going 4-0 in April. And then after a couple of losses went on a very impressive run from the middle of May all the way through the end of July. And during that stretch of 12 starts, he was 9-2 with a 2.15 ERA. That sent him to the All-Star game, but he has not done all that well this month. He's 0-2 in 3 starts in August, but ahead of Lamb 0-2. That one rolls foul.
This has kind of been the history this season for Garrett Cole. If you're going to get him, you better get to him early. That first plate appearance of the game, first couple innings of a ball game before he has a chance to settle in and get comfortable out there on the mound. Two runs today make it 12 on the season allowed in 24 first innings this season.
And Jake Lamb proving to be a pesky out here. Fouling off a few 0-2 pitches. Make it one more. Jake started all 3 games against the Braves over the weekend. He had 3 hits in this series, including a pair of doubles. Also struck out 5 times. But he's hanging in here against a tough pitcher on 0-2. Now Cole knocking on the door of a 30-pitch first inning. But it's no picnic when you get into that Pirate bullpen. That's a really good group back there. A little better than the one we just saw in Atlanta. Lays off that one. A ball and 2 strikes.
Tell you what, the first game of the series, the sooner you can get into that bullpen, the better. Try to see as many of those arms in the first game of a series so you can hopefully get to them in the second and third game if you see them again.
30th pitch of the inning for Cole is popped up to left center field. And McCutcheon's there, and Cole is finally out of the first, but the Diamondbacks strike first. They get 2. David Peralta. The freight train stays hot on the tracks with an RBI double. And then Beef Wellington follows with the RBI single. It's 2-0 Diamondbacks in Pittsburgh. inning. He'll certainly settle for 2 in the first here in Pittsburgh. He is your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the D-backs. And he pitched very well his last time out. That was against the Phillies Tuesday at Chase Field. 8 full innings for the first time as a Diamondback. His catcher tonight is Wellington Castillo.
Just to keep the ball down. That's a really good hitting club. No, that's a team that being really happy. Have really good hitter in there. Just working ahead on the count. We may make pitches down in, down away. Just keep the ball down. And throw a strike. I think control the count.
Oh, keep it down and stay ahead in the count. The keys for Hellickson, his 23rd start. The ERA back under 5 for the year after last week's win over the Phillies.
Yeah, so far this season, the highest ground ball percentage of his career. And that speaks to what Wellington Castillo was talking about. Keep the ball down.
Yeah, Jeremy Hellickson, a ground ball rate of 43%. That's a career high. Certainly has seen a lot of improvement in that area as a Diamondback. Gregory Polanco will lead it off for the Pirates. And Hellickson misses inside with a fastball. It's 1-0. Polanco, a real force in this lineup for Pittsburgh right now after a slow start. 264, 7 home runs. He homered at Citi Field in New York on Saturday. The Pirates coming into this series after sweeping the Mets in New York over the weekend. Now that's no small feat when you face that rotation in its own ballpark.
I was just going to say they came back from New York and the Pirates didn't do anything on the field today. No batting practice, no ground balls. I'm sure a lot of guys hit in the cage, but no activity on the field whatsoever before the ball game today.
Well, you saw a moment ago that Polanco is tearing it up right now at the plate. 2 more hits yesterday. He's hit safely in 10 straight. And during his 10-game hitting streak is batting .435. He's got 20 hits in his last 46 at bats. Jeremy back even 2-2. This was the homer Saturday in New York.
A big slow curveball. Polanco for me has a little bit of a long swing and he really catches up to off-speed pitches in the strike zone well. Most teams try to pound him inside at the hands with fastballs, throw him off-speed stuff off the plate away.
Pops this one up to very short left. Nick Ahmed is out there calling for it. Inciarte behind him. But Nick has got it for the first out. The lineup for Clint Hurdle in his Pittsburgh Pirates.
Seen Polanco at the top. He'll be out in right field with Starling Marte in left field. That guy, Andrew McCutchen, out in center, has been beaten up on the National League West this year. Veteran Aramis Ramirez at third base. Jung Ho Gung at shortstop. Neil Walker at second base. Pedro Alvarez over at first. Francisco Cervelli doing the catching and Garrett Cole on the mound.
Starling Marte steps in from the right-hand side. There's strike one from Hellickson. Marte, 285, 13 home runs. Those 13 homers match his career high from last season. And you see the 58 RBIs. That's already a new career high.
So
nice pitch there by Jeremy, who jumps ahead. No balls and 2 strikes.
and apparently Starling Marte wanted to make sure that nobody else on that Pirate team wears his elbow guard. No questioning who that belongs to.
It's all about the brand. Well, he needs it.
Yeah.
He has got a remarkable Ron Hunt-like talent for getting hit by the baseball, Starling Marte. He gets into this one and hits it over the head of Inciarte in left, and it one hops the wall. Ground rule double for Starling Marte. That's his 22nd.
Oh, 0-2 pitch. That just can't happen. You know, we talk a lot about Chris Owings and how he always seems to find himself in an 0-2 count. Well, Marte is right there, actually a little bit ahead of Chris Owings this year. Yeah, breaking ball just caught too much of the strike zone that time. Marte's had 443 plate appearances coming into play tonight and 117 0-2 counts.
Well, here's the franchise. Andrew McCutchen. The OPS, 5th best in the National League. And the batting average down just a bit compared to recent seasons. Due mostly to a slow start, but he's picked it up lately. There's a strike. Here are the numbers on McCutchen. 295 at 18 homers.
Yeah, it must be nice for Clint Hurdle when things go a little bit south for your superstar player in that 3 spot. The rest of the lineup gets red hot around him.
McCutchen lately, after a great start to this month, he was NL Player of the Week earlier this month, has been striking out a little bit more often lately. In fact, 11 strikeouts in his last 24 at-bats. That's something Clint Hurdle is used to seeing.
It's the hair.
Cut it off for charity. Yeah, you notice the trademark dreadlocks. Those were gone early in the year. He cut those off for charity. And of course, in the MLB The Show video game, they had to send out a patch for the game that changed his hair in the video game.
No kidding.
Yeah, so you could download that if you had the game on your PS4 and get a more realistic looking Andrew McCutchen up there. It's the little things. 1-1 pitch. I know that because I'm one of those dopes that plays that game like 4 hours a day.
Yeah, they can be addicting. I wonder if he's working on letting it get out there again, get the dreadlocks going again. I don't know how long it could have possibly taken for Andrew to have the hair that he had.
I believe it was somewhere 7 to 8 years.
Is that right?
Yeah,
wow.
The last time he had a haircut. And they have updated his locks on the MLB.com site as well. If you use the MLB.TV at-bat app. 2-1 pitch. It's there, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Ramos Ramirez is on deck. Ellickson retired. Polanco was ahead of Marte 0-2 and suddenly is in trouble. It's full 3-2.
Well, Jeremy Hellickson gets up on the bump out there in the middle of the infield and turns and faces home plate. There was some sun beaming through an open door or open window somewhere here at PNC Park. It was hitting him right in the face before that last pitch. Yeah, we're way up there on the top, but this was down on the main concourse level. The sun's streaming through some kind of an opening and hitting right out there on the pitcher's mound.
There is a really bright shine off one of the office buildings across the river in downtown Pittsburgh. They have the same problem in Minnesota at Target Field.
Yeah, you see him squinting into the sun to get the signs from Wellington Castillo.
3-2. Just gets a piece of that fastball to stay alive. McCutchen got off to a very slow start this year. He was hampered by a nagging knee problem that kind of dragged through spring training and past April. And on May 5th this year, he was hitting a .185. But since then, he's batted nearly .330.
Yeah, McCutchen had a serious knee injury back in high school. Torn ACL and MCL. Was probably going to play football, but the knee injury kind of put an end to his football career and put all his focus on baseball, and pitchers in the National League dread that day.
Grew up in Fort Meade, Florida. And he strikes out again. We mentioned he'd been striking out a lot lately, and that's a big one there for Jeremy. 2 down.
Looks like that straight changeup from Jeremy Hellickson down low in the zone. Great location. Even if McCutchen puts that ball in play, it's going to be an easy grounder somewhere to the left side of the infield.
So that's 12 strikeouts in McCutchen's last 25 at bats. 2 down. Marte still at second for Aramis Ramirez. Way out in front of that one. Just does get a piece. Strike one. Ramirez, 249, 12 homers. Acquired from Milwaukee on July 23rd. This is where he began his major league career, and this is where he will end it. He is retiring after this season. Originally signed by the Pirates out of the Dominican Republic in 1994.
Boy, and statistically, he's had himself a really nice career. 376 home runs as a third baseman, 5th on the all-time Major League Baseball list among third basemen.
And when you look at the numbers, you start to go, maybe. Just inside there. Ramirez just over 2,270 hits. 381 career home runs. Not all of those as a third baseman. He's only 3 away from 1,400 RBIs and a lifetime 284 average. 18 years in the big leagues. And he will hang him up after this year. One and one. Swinging for the river on that one.
Ramos Ramirez is another one of those hitters, much like Gregory Polanco. If you leave a breaking ball over the heart of the plate, that's a pitch he can really tee up and hit a long way. Got to bounce change ups, throw that curveball off the outside corner, just keep it out of the middle of the plate.
Ramirez started at third yesterday in New York and went 4 for 5. Fastball misses away there. It's 2-2. And Ramirez has proven to be a pretty solid patch for Pittsburgh's third base issue. Josh Harrison has been injured. He's been out a month and a half after thumb surgery, close to coming back. He's rehabbing right now in AAA. But we don't anticipate seeing either Harrison or Jordy Mercer in this series. They're still at AAA Indianapolis. 2-2. Jeremy Ellickson gets 2 big strikeouts. He strikes out McCutchen and then Ramirez. And they strand Marte at second after the 1-out double. And through one at PNC Park, the Diamondbacks lead the Pirates 2-0. Cox Giga Blast. How will you live the gig life? By Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. And by Jack in the Box. For a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic herb butter. Downtown Pittsburgh, PA, the confluence. The Allegheny, the Monongahela, and Ohio Rivers. Chris Owings leads off the second against Garrett Cole. 2-0 Diamondbacks. An RBI double by David Peralta, RBI single by Wellington Castillo in the first. The 0-1 is lifted into left center field by Chris Owings. That is well hit, and that ball is off the wall. Owings will stop at second with a double to lead off the second inning. That's number 20 for CO.
He put a charge on that one out to the deepest part of the ballpark out there in left center field. McCutchen in center field gave up on that ball rather early. I thought it might get out of here into the bullpen in left center field, but Marte continued to chase the ball as it hit right at the base of the wall out there.
Already 4 hits for the Diamondbacks against Gerrit Cole, 3 of them for extra bases. And here's Nick Ahmed. Nick at .220 and 7 homers.
A really laborious first inning for Gerrit Cole. He can't be used to this. He's only had 3 innings all season long with 30 or more pitches in almost 150 innings pitched. Had to struggle through that 30-pitch first inning tonight. 21 of them were strikes. But the Diamondbacks put together some good at-bats and put 2 runs on the board against the Pirates right-hander.
Well, the circumstances the last 2 starts for Gerrit Cole have been a little different for him, a little unusual. He has worked with a personal catcher for most of this season. He and the backup Chris Stewart have been sort of a golfer and caddy all year. But now it's Francisco Cervelli. And this is the 2nd start in a row. It's been Cervelli back there and not Stewart. As Ahmed hits a fly ball to right field, Polanco is there. And Owings will tag up and head for third. Gerrit Cole made 16 consecutive starts with Chris Stewart behind the plate. And Clint Hurdle finally put a stop to that in Cole's previous start. That was a loss at St. Louis last Wednesday. Because ideally they figure he's going to be starting some critical postseason game or games in October. And if it's a big game, they'd want Cervelli's bat in there. So rather than Stewart. So Cole is being weaned off the personal catcher scenario before that postseason begins. And Cervelli is back there again tonight. Jeremy Hellickson. Infield is in for the Buccos. 96. Jeremy's been a hitter. He certainly was last time up against the Phillies. A pair of RBI hits in the same inning during that remarkable 11-run Diamondback second.
He also drew a base on balls in that game. He looks like a hitter up there.
He did not go, says Jim Reynolds down there, and it's 2-0. Look at the difference here for Gerrit Cole. I mean, he had a very good July, 3-1 at 2.40 ERA. He was an all-star, but it's not gone nearly as well here in August. And that trend has continued tonight. Shoots that one foul. What about the idea of taking your ace, who's 16 straight starts with Stewart back there, Bob, a personal catcher? That's not a small sample size. And suddenly here in the middle of August, changing things around.
Well, I guess it's better if you're Clint Hurdle to do it now in the middle of August while you still have a month and a half to possibly get these 2 guys on the same page before the postseason than to wait until the postseason and say, oh, by the way, you're not going to be throwing to Chris Stewart anymore. You're going to be throwing to Cervelli. So yeah, I can see kind of the problem that Clint Hurdle has. You want to get the best out of your starting pitcher every night you send him out there. And occasionally you develop a better rapport with one catcher over the other. But they're going to want Cervelli back there if and when they reach the postseason. So might as well do it now.
Jeremy reaches out and drops that one over the head of Neil Walker. Owings will score, and it's 3-0 Diamondbacks. It's another RBI base hit for Jeremy Hellickson, who's driving the bus. How about that?
Perfectly placed. Pirates had their infield drawn in. Jeremy hit it right off the end of the bat. Neil Walker can't backpedal quickly enough to get underneath that one, and certainly Gregory Polanco can't make up that much ground from right field. An RBI base hit for Jeremy Hellickson.
And the coincidence there may be that that was exactly the same type of swing and hit that Nick Ahmed used in Atlanta yesterday to break up that Shelby Miller no-hitter when he led off the 8th inning. So it's 3-0 D-backs. Here's Ender Inciarte. It's a ground ball right to Walker. Gong, and they turn it. That's the end of the inning, but the Diamondbacks add one more against Garrett Cole. They lead the Pirates 3-0.
Season tickets are on sale now. Customize your own plan with a series, weekend, or half season, or go all in with a full season ticket plan. Visit dbacks.com/tickets.
We'll see you back there at Chase Field if we can ever stop with these 10-game road trips. Back-to-back 10-gamers. Jeremy Hellickson, who had that RBI single, just starting his warm-up tosses now. So we've got time to talk about Jung-Ho Kang, who will lead off the Pirates' second. And he's been a key bat for Pittsburgh lately. In his first season in the U.S. after his posting from the Korean Major Leagues, where he was considered the Korean Troy Tulowitzki. Now, do with that what you will. There was really no blueprint for what this guy has done, because he is the first ever Korean position player to play in the major leagues. But he played 9 seasons in their major league over there, the KBO, Korean Professional League, and was a career .298 hitter there, 40 home runs last season, and in 117 games had 117 RBIs. So he can hit, and he's done a good job for the Pirates this year.
Yeah, really put up crazy numbers his final season playing in Korea, and has picked up right where he left off here with the Pirates. He's really been a good fit for them.
And they've really needed him. As we told you, they're without Josh Harrison, their third baseman. They're without Jordy Mercer, their shortstop, and Kang can play both positions and has been. He sort of alternates almost between shortstop and third, but they stepped up and made an investment in this guy over the winter. He got a 4-year, $11 million deal, plus a $5 million posting fee. And he's at .288 for the year and 9 homers. He leads off the bottom of the second inning, 3-0 Diamondbacks. And keep an eye on that front leg. That's a fair ball, a diving stop by Jake Lamb, and he makes the play. What a throw. A quick out here in the second. Jake Lamb at third.
Took sure extra bases away from Kang right there. That ball was destined for that left field corner. Crossover step and a dive right on the foul line, and then that strong throw you mentioned. We've seen a lot of those from Jake this year.
That's a difficult play that he makes look easy. A quick out number 1. Here's Neil Walker, the switch hitting second baseman. Shift is on for the Diamondbacks. They overload the right-hand side, and there's strike 1.
That's a great pitch right there. When you get one pitch and one quick out in an inning, it behooves you to throw that next pitch right down the middle, because Neil Walker does not want to allow Jeremy Hellickson to have a quick 3 or 4 pitch inning. So he's probably going to take until he gets a strike. So you might as well jump ahead with that first fastball right down the middle.
Fastball down and in, missed that time, and it's 1-1. Neil Walker, his 7th season with the Pirates, his hometown team. just under 270 and 12 homers. He leads all National League second basemen in extra base hits. All fastballs here so far to Walker. So Jeremy get 2 big strikeouts in that first inning. He got McCutchen and Ramirez on the off-speed stuff, the change up, the curveball. And we'll see if he goes back to those here, and a 1-2 count on Walker. Change up missed down, 2-2.
Yeah, with the success that Gung has had and Neil Walker and Ramos Ramirez over there at third base, it'll be really interesting to see what happens when Josh Harrison comes back. Now, you may remember initially Josh Harrison was a super utility guy. Played outfield, played all over the infield until he eventually settled in over there at third base as their everyday guy. But he may go back to that super utility role, play every day, but never play the same position 2 days in a row.
And he had a tremendous year last year, Harrison. They had to move Pedro Alvarez across the infield because he was just a defensive dumpster fire, and for the most part still is. He's now playing first base. There he is. He'll hit next.
He's made 16 errors as a first baseman.
Twice as many as any other first baseman in baseball. It really hasn't helped being over there. But the throwing was the big issue for him. 2-2 on Walker. And there you go. Jeremy Hellickson stays away from that fastball with 2 strikes and gets his 3rd strikeout.
Big curveball. Down in the zone. Look at all those pitches. Mid-thigh and down.
Well, the one thing Pedro Alvarez can do is hit most of the time. He's hot right now. 249 for the year, though. The 18 homers has already equaled his total from last season. He's passed his RBI total from last year, but when he heats up, and he's hot right now, he can carry you for a couple of weeks. Alvarez 17 RBIs in his last 23 games. And red hot over his last 10. He homered off Matt Harvey yesterday in the win in New York, and has homered 3 times in his last 6 games. That's, as we said, no small feat to go into Citi Field against those pitchers and sweep the Mets, who are really playing well right now, as the Nationals continue to fade in the NL East. There's the strike, 1-2. This is the home run yesterday off the Dark Knight.
Has that kind of plate coverage. That was a pitch up and out over the plate and drove it out just to the right of straightaway center field. Tremendous power when he makes contact.
He still can hit lefties and still strikes out a lot, but he's producing lately. Just does get a piece of that one, and it rolls foul.
That's a good move by Jeremy Hellickson. Let that ball roll as long as Alvarez was still closer to home plate than the ball was. Maybe it hits a cleat mark, maybe it hits a pebble, bounces back into fair territory, and you get an easy out. But once that runner gets close to the baseball, Goldie comes in and says, let's just go ahead and take the foul ball.
And we saw Jim Reynolds, the first base umpire, doesn't signal foul until Goldie touches it. So it's a ball and 2 strikes on Alvarez. This is a swing and bunt. Beef Wellington's on it, and Jeremy Hellickson has retired 5 in a row. A 1-2-3 second. He leads it 3-0. We will get a phone call from Japan when we come back. We'll talk to President and CEO Derek Hall when we return. The second against Garrett Cole. 3-0 D-backs in the third, and we are joined via telephone from Japan. Diamondbacks president and CEO Derek Hall is with us as the Goodwill Tour continues. Derek, it's Steve and Bob. How are you?
I'm doing for sure.
How is it going over there?
We were Hiroshima, and they were in Fukuoka before I got here because I was at the owners' meetings in Chicago. Yesterday we went over to Sendai. Ishinomaki was the area that got devastated during unfortunately, the tsunami. We had a clinic for 200. Just wonderful. I mean, good time for us to expand our brand, have an impact on kids here. It's just been so far.
Derek, what about the meetings with the Japanese baseball officials, MLB Japan, Nippon Professional League? What's the goal there in terms of meeting with all the Japanese baseball professionals and officials?
Yeah, Steve, about 3 years ago we started establishing those relationships, so it's nice to live up to our promise when we said we would come back and continue to build on those relationships. And last night we had executives and my counterpart from the Yomiuri, and they're the biggest team here. Today we're going to be with the Chiba Latte people, executives as well, and it's been nice to make our travel. And
well, Derek, we've lost your signal from Japan, so we want to thank you for calling up if you can still hear me, and we're glad to hear that it's going so well over there, and continued success. That's Derek Hall, Diamondbacks president and CEO. As A.J. Pollock strikes out, here's Goldie now. Struck out his first time. The Goodwill Tour continues.
So far, no international incidents with Gonzo over there.
Well, that's a shocker. Actually, there's a great article at MLB.com if you go to DBacks.com, the Diamondbacks site on that page, about all the great work that Gonzo and Randy Johnson and Derek Hall and Tony La Russa have done over there. Meeting with tsunami victims, going to different sacred sites all over the country of Japan, meeting with baseball officials over there.
You heard Derek Hall say putting on clinics for some of the kids, and I'm sure there's some scouting going on at the same time, looking for those diamonds in the rough over there, if you will.
1-2 on Goldie. Garrett Cole reaches out and snags it. 2 down. Off balance, falling off the mound, and just able to get a glove on it. Goldie 0 for 2.
It's been a little different story so far in this ball game tonight as you get one more look at that little tapper back to the mound. Garrett Cole reaching across his body to make the play. I mentioned in that April series against the Pirates back at Chase Field, they only had one extra base hit, the Diamondbacks did, and they were 2 for 21 with runners in scoring position in the series. They've had 3 extra base hits already tonight, and they're 3 for 5 with runners in scoring position.
And one of them was David Peralta's 2-out RBI double back in the first. And for David, counting tonight, that's now 14 RBIs in his last 11 games. It's not bad for a cleanup man. He's cleaning up.
Yeah, big pull shift on by the Pirates for David Peralta. Aramis Ramirez, the only defender on the left side of that infield. I mean, if you wanted to bunt for a base hit right now, you could square around when Cole's in the middle of his delivery.
And bunt a double.
And bunt a double down that third base line.
Instead, he lifts it out to McCutchen in center. And Garrett Cole settling in. He's now retired 4 in a row. But the Diamondbacks have a 3-0 lead. 8.5 hours of Diamondbacks TV. The 10th inning, the local 9 at 2:30, followed by the 10th inning Legends race at 3. And then at 3:30 is the Diamondback Live pregame show, followed by game 2 of this series at 4 o'clock, and then the postgame show all day with the Diamondbacks, presented by State Farm, right here only on Fox Sports Arizona. A beautiful summer evening here in downtown Pittsburgh, PA. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly, and Todd Walsh along the way. Diamondbacks lead the Pirates 3-0, and Francisco Cervelli will lead off the Pittsburgh third against Jeremy Hellickson, who's retired 5 in a row. He leads at 3-0. A little flare along the right field line. Long run for Peralta, and he can't quite get there.
That's right. David Peralta in right field. Ender Inciarte in left tonight. It's the 42nd career start in right field for David Peralta, only the second this season. And it was a very late change. The initial lineup had Inciarte in right, Peralta in left, like we're used to seeing. But I think because left field and left center is so big in this ballpark, and right field is so cozy with that short fence out there, Chip Hale decided to flip-flop the two outfielders.
Yeah, usually Ender's out there in right field with that big arm, but David, as you mentioned, Bob, played plenty of right field before, so why not do it? And Ender can play anywhere. 1-1 on Cervelli, 304 and 6 home runs. The 6 homers a career high, and this guy, a longtime Yankee backup, is having the best season of his career, his first year in Pittsburgh. They were really concerned about how they were going to replace Russell Martin, who got all that money, that 5-year deal to go to Toronto, because he was a real heart and soul guy the last few years here. But Cervelli has stepped in and done very well. That's in the seats, and it's 2-2.
Well, we have a moment here. Let's take a look at our Valley Honda dealer keys to the ball game tonight. Water's only good for fishing. I don't want to see any home run balls landing out there off of Pirate bats. They like to take aim at the river out there. And the D-backs have to represent the West here tonight. We mentioned it earlier. The Pirates are 14-2 against the National League West this year, including a perfect 6-0 here at PNC.
That's got to stop.
That's got to stop. The Diamondbacks put a hurting on them in this series. The Giants roll in here for a 4-game series over the weekend, so a chance to slightly even the scale a little bit.
2-2. It's full 3-2. Cervelli since July the 1st hitting .315. And he had a pair of doubles in their win Saturday in New York. He was off yesterday. That's this one up in the air. Center field, playable for Pollock. That's the first out. You mentioned keep the baseball out of the water. Sometimes even when it gets to the river, it doesn't get in the water. Look at Pedro Alvarez May 19th. He hit it into a boat over the stadium and into a boat that was docked right out there. What are the odds? And then sure enough, some guy walking by, hey, there's a ball in that boat. I'm going to get it. And then he got stuck in the boat. That looks like you fishing the other day.
Yeah, in Atlanta. That's kind of what happened. Got stuck between the bank and the boat as the boat was sailing away.
Garrett Cole, the pitcher. I'm still surprised they haven't built some kind of marketing tool where they park a van down there and sell pirate merchandise or hot dogs or whatever you want. So they have a van down by the river.
Oh, I like it.
40 pitches for Jeremy, 27 strikes. Cole reaches out and slaps it toward the right field corner. Peralta runs it down near the line. 2 outs, 7 straight set down by Hellickson.
Boy, and Jeremy feeling that curveball in the early going here tonight. He's thrown 11 curveballs so far in this game, 10 of them for strikes. This one lofted down that right field line. Plenty of time for Peralta to close ground and make the play. He struck out Aramis Ramirez. He struck out Neil Walker with curveballs, but really pounding that strike zone with his secondary pitches.
And when he's doing that, he is going to be successful. Gregory Polanco popped up his first time. The leadoff man steps in. You mentioned, Bob, how he kind of gets a long swing. He's a long guy up there, 6'5", 230. Just 23 years old. And they have worked with trying to shorten things up there. Long arms and limbs. Trying to get a quicker, more direct path to the baseball. Which can't be easy. He's a lanky guy. And Clint Hurdle says it's very difficult for Polanco to maintain and catch up to plus velocity. Not the case here with Hellickson tonight. He's down 0-1.
We talk about the Jeremy Hellickson curveball. This was the first one to Marte. Kind of hung over the inside part of the plate right there. Got banged into left field for a double. But then he found the release point. Dropped it off the outside corner to Ramirez. Down low in the zone to Neil Walker. When he's keeping that pitch down in the zone, it's very tough to hit.
This is headed for the right field corner again, but it's foul. Not a lot of room. There is not almost any foul ground here. There's a bit behind home plate area, but the foul lines, it gets tight quick down there in those corners.
Yeah, it really does. In the low wall, that one there about waist high, but if you come closer to home plate from where David Peralta is, that wall hits you about mid-thigh, right there where it changes to chain link with padding on top. Very dangerous situation for corner outfielders and infielders chasing foul balls over there.
1-2 on Gregory Polanco. This does get a piece, but Castillo can't hang on. It stays 1-2.
Yeah, we just came from Atlanta where that ballpark was, as I called it, very vanilla. No nooks and crannies to be found anywhere. That's not the case here at PNC. You've got a lot of issues to deal with, especially in the outfield. You've got that notch, north side notch out in left center field. Close foul ground down both lines. You've got the out-of-town scoreboard in right field.
Now, there's the North Shore notch, they call it. You hit it into there, and it's almost a guaranteed triple. Much like right center field at AT&T Park in San Francisco. I personally like this ballpark better than San Francisco. There's a lot of comparisons, a lot of similarities. There's water, everything, and some beautiful views. But this one's a little more intimate, a little smaller. And nary a bad seat in the house.
Boy, the views are just unparalleled. I mean, people laugh when you say, boy, you should see the skyline of Pittsburgh from our vantage point. It really is beautiful.
And we got the football stadium just to our right here, Heinz Field. Steels will get it cranked up. That's pretty much the view from our booth here. We are way up high, and it is just a tremendous sight.
Yeah, seeing the fans flood across that Roberto Clemente Bridge right out behind center field before and after the ball game. Stopped to vehicular traffic. Only pedestrians walking across that bridge before and after.
Well, 2 outs here in the third. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Polanco. Is out to left field. Inciarte is there. He's got it. And Hellickson has another 1-2-3 inning. He's retired 8 in a row. And we go to the 4th. Hey, here we are, way up here. It's 3-0 Diamondbacks. What are you doing?
Even Bob, I've actually come into the booth.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
How's the view?
It's fantastic.
Yes.
But I have a bone to pick with you guys.
What happened?
I was almost refused a meal.
What?
In the press room because of apparently what you guys did to the mustache man.
Well, we made sure that Derek Moore, the lemonade guy, you wanted, won the award for MLB Best Vendor. We just simply did our part as a Diamondback citizens.
Yeah. Well, whenever something like that gets in the way of a great press meal, then I have a problem.
So were you barred at the door?
They wanted to know where I was from, where I worked, what I did, what I said on the air. If I said anything against this Rick is his name, the mustache guy, and
I don't think we said anything bad about Rick.
No. Yeah. Well,
I may have called him a clown. I don't know.
You did.
And I believe now actually I refer to him as a prop comic.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that was it. Sort of the
Carrot Top.
The Carrot Top of MLB.
Like I said.
He's like Gallagher, when he's smashing watermelons with a hammer.
With a hammer, yeah.
I mean, Derek Moore has his call. He sells his lemonade. He's more organic. This guy's got a fake outfit, and he's got a shtick.
He's what Raleigh Fingers would have looked like if
That's
they
a good point.
Pulled the trigger.
Now here's Derek.
Solid.
Grandma May. Who is thirst?
This is hit to Ramirez at third, and they retire Castillo. See, Derek has just got the basics.
He's heart and soul.
No props, no fake mustaches.
Yeah.
Doesn't need an old, a Dave Parker, Omar Moreno uniform.
Lemonade, lemonade.
Well, I was told something about West Coast polls being open late, and you guys jumping on that opportunity.
Well, let me just say this: that the polls closed at the same time for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, see, then they misinterpreted that.
They just have to put their pierogies down and vote. You know.
And it seems to me if they have a problem, they need to talk to the Pirates broadcast guys, who apparently didn't hold up their end of the deal like Bob and I did. We stepped up for our guy Derek.
Well,
can I get you a hot dog or something? I feel
good
bad now.
I'm good. Probably for the next 6 months, I'm good. But
well, there's a Primanti's near the hotel.
I saw that out my window.
That's tremendous, by the way.
I defended your honor.
Well, we don't have any honor.
I mentioned that too.
I mean, let's be frank.
Well, I think tomorrow we're going to have to sort of weave our way through this and maybe give him his.
Do we need to escort you back to the hotel?
I'm fine. I'm just going to take the bridge.
Well, that's Todd. I will tell you this: as far as that ball goes,
hit by Jake Lamb, and that sent it out to right center field and gone a home run. Jake Lamb, there it goes, number 5. And you can keep going, Jake. It's 4-0 Diamondbacks. It's out of here. You see, even Todd, when a topic comes up, we just assert our authority here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I could add color and tell you that Jake Lamb was excited to be here today. Never seen the park. Came out early for BP just to check it out. Couldn't wait to get his hacks in here tonight.
I can see why. Line drive homer just cleared the fence out there in right center. He wasn't quite sure if it left the ballpark or not, so just a short stop at second base and then on around.
Well, that's the Diamondbacks' 4th extra base hit through 3 1/3 against Garrett Cole, and now the Pirates will challenge. Oh, it might be an umpire review. Let's see.
Well, Todd, what I was going to say before Jake Lamb so rudely interrupted us with that home run is, as far as media lunchroom meals go, you're not really missing it.
Oh, no, see, here we go.
There is that. We might as well alienate everybody while we're at it here.
I have to come here for hockey, too, Okay? This is a year-round gig.
Yeah, he's right, though. You're not missing anything down there. This is a umpire crew chief review, we are told, not a Pirate challenge. And this is up to the umpire's discretion to make sure that ball did get out of here. Crew chief review. And it's another replay review brought to us by Mitch One. Again, if Tim Neverett and those guys had just, done their part for 45 minutes.
I agree
just
with
getting out the vote.
Yep. You guys closed the deal. I was impressed.
Democracy in action. Well, we're almost positive that this is a home run, but they're going to check. All boundary calls are subject to unlimited review on the part of the umpires.
I'll get out of here in a second, but my sources tell me, Bob, that you actually know the Mustache Man.
Yeah.
You guys are tight. Maybe you could navigate this for me or us. I'll jump in on
what
this
we
one.
need is some détente. Can you step in?
Yeah.
Can you be Nixon in China?
The way I work with
Salt
umpires,
too.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got away.
Well, I'm going to offer him a slot on the pregame show, and if you guys are,
I would like to see that segment actually.
well, I'd like you to be on it.
I'd like to get his version of it.
Okay. All right.
I'll go on the air and call the guy a prop comic.
From all the way up here.
Yeah, from way up here.
Okay, great.
From way up here.
See.
We're like 5 flights up.
Yes, you are.
I'll do that. I'll step up.
Okay.
It'll be like one of those Mike Wallace deals.
Absolutely.
We're cornering.
I remember it well.
So that's a home run. It's the 5th for Jake Lamb, and it is 4-0 Diamondbacks. The call on the field is confirmed. Another replay review brought to us by Mix One.
Well, if Jake Lamb liked this ballpark before, just laying eyes on it, he's going to love it now. Start developing a history in an out-of-town ballpark, and you just can't wait to come back year after year after year because you've had success.
6 hits against Garrett Cole, 4 of them for extra bases, 2 doubles, a triple, and a homer. And it's 4-0 Diamondbacks. CO doubled and scored his first time. Well, Todd, I wish you all the best.
Good, thanks. They've got some chips up here and stuff. So
some pretzels. I saw some out in the hall.
Yeah, down the hall. I'm going to tell them you sent me.
No, I know. Don't do that.
All right, so tomorrow.
It's on. It's on like Donkey Kong.
Okay. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, peace.
Thanks.
Poor Todd. He's got to bear the brunt of our PR campaign for Derek. It had to be done. There's the strike. 3rd strikeout for Cole. Let's update our replay review standings in games involving the Diamondbacks, brought to you by Mix One. Call on the field was confirmed, a homer for Lamb. 2 down, here's Nick Ahmed. Nick flied out his first time. I had no idea this was such a hot button topic here in Pittsburgh.
You'd think they've had other things to worry about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations. So there's the answer to Todd's dilemma.
What's that?
Diamondbacks win tonight, and hopefully one of the participating locations is here in Pittsburgh. He can get some tacos.
Yeah, that should keep everybody quiet.
I don't know.
You have to walk somebody down to Permanente Brothers and step up. Oh, 0-2 on Nick Ahmed. Nick reaches out and dunks it into right field. A base hit. 2-out single for Ahmed, and the Diamondbacks will at least clear the pitcher spot, although with the way that Jeremy Hellickson's been hitting, that might not be a goal you want to shoot for.
What you meant to say, Nick Ahmed is on base in front of Jeremy Hellickson.
Set the table.
Ducks on the pond for the D-backs pitcher.
Hellickson, who had a pair of RBI hits in the same inning in his last start, that 11-run second against the Phillies last week. Had an RBI single his first time up tonight.
Still looking for the first extra base hit from the Diamondbacks pitching staff this year. Have to wait till his next at bat.
Going it short. Throws him out, but the Diamondbacks add one more on the Jake Lamb homer, his 5th of the year. They lead it 4-0.
Bucko. This day in Major League Baseball history, August 17th, 1983, Tom Candiotti made his first Major League career start through a complete game for the Brewers in a 5-1 win over the Boston Red Sox. Nice going, Candy.
The Candy Man on the road trip here.
On this day, Brandon Webb also shut out the Braves 4-0. His third straight shutout, 42 consecutive scoreless innings. And my favorite on this day in baseball history, back in 1957.
Is this Richie Ashburn?
The late Richie Ashburn, playing for the Philadelphia Phillies, hit a foul ball into the stands on the third base side of the field. He was a little left-handed slap hitter, lined a ball into the stands, and unfortunately hit a lady in the face and broke her nose. Now, the lady happened to be married to the editor of a Philadelphia newspaper.
Uh-oh.
But that's no big deal. There was a slight delay as they tended to the lady. They put her on a stretcher, and as they were carrying her out of the ballpark, Richie Ashburn hit another foul ball and hit the lady again on the stretcher.
So was there an op-ed piece the next day or something?
Trade Ashburn now.
We're set here for the bottom of the fourth at PNC Park. Diamondbacks lead at 4-0. And Starling Marte, who doubled, he's got the only Pirate hit, will lead it off.
The reason I remember that story so well is the late Ron Santo used to tell it all the time, because when they came in to play the Cubs, I believe it was the series after, all the Cubs players were telling him, well, at least one of the Cubs players was saying where his ex-wife was sitting. Richie, can you take care of her? If you have that kind of bat control, can you help me out a little bit here?
And there's a giant Richie Ashburn statue in center field at Citizens Bank Park, Ashburn Alley, and whole outfield concourse out there named after the late great former Philly.
It almost looked like a little get-me-over slider that time from Jeremy Hellickson, a pitch that I don't believe he's used very much, if at all, this year.
There's that Marte elbow armor up there. It's pretty extravagant. This is popped up, very short right. Peralta coming in, Owings going out, and David's got it for the first out.
Good communication there. Good pop-up priority. Everybody went after it. Goldie was the first to peel off as Chris Owings called Goldie off the ball, and then David Peralta called off Chris Owings. That's exactly the way it's supposed to work.
David's been very busy out there in right field after that defensive switch just before the ball game. Andrew McCutchen struck out his first time up. Diamondbacks overload the left-hand side. You don't see a whole lot of shifts these days for right-hand hitters, but they shift against McCutchen.
Breaking ball, it just didn't take the break right there. Looked like McCutchen tried to sell a hit by pitch to Field and Culbreth there. Maybe it nicked a thread on his sleeve, but it's a touchy subject when you talk about hit by pitch, either for the Pirates hitters or the Pirates pitchers.
We've had more incidents this year. They hit a lot of guys, they get hit a lot. That's I guess Clint Hurdle's thing. You got to pitch inside. He wants his guys pitching inside, and as a result they hit a lot of opposing batters, and as a result there's retaliation, and there you go.
Yeah. Pirates pitchers have hit 60 opposing hitters this year. Nobody else in Major League Baseball has reached the 50 mark yet.
2-0. And of course the Diamondbacks have their own history with the Pirates, and hopefully we can just leave it at that. Shift is on. He hits right into it. Long throw for Chris Owings from the shortstop side of the second base bag. And that's 10 straight retired by Jeremy Hellickson. Brings up Aramis Ramirez. Ramirez, a strikeout victim his first time. There's a strike, 0-1. Ramos Ramirez at the age of 37, finishing up where he started in Pittsburgh. Signed with the Pirates back in 1994. And they picked him up again at the trade deadline for a minor leaguer. That is a yanked foul, 1-2. And it was thought that Ramirez would be brought here to help at third while Josh Harrison was injured. But then they thought because Alvarez was having so many defensive issues at first that Ramirez might have to move over there. But at least defensively, lately, Alvarez has settled down. And Harrison should be back soon. Fastball on 1-2 is hit in the air to right center field. And that will one-hop the wall. And Ramos Ramirez, his 23rd double, just a second hit for the Pirates.
Ramirez would much rather pull the ball, but he will go to the opposite field on pitches up and out over the plate, and that's exactly what he does here to Jeremy Hellickson. Short hopping the wall out there in right center field. Chugs into second with an easy 2-out double.
And here's the shortstop, Jung Ho Gung. Ramirez at second, 2 outs. Gung grounded out his first time. And watch that front leg. You'll notice, like a lot of the Asian players, he has that big front leg kick. It's come and gone for the Pirates a little bit this year. He varies the timing of it, it seems like, but whatever he's doing lately is working. He's hitting over .320 since the beginning of July. Gets up on that back leg, lifts that front leg way up in the air, just kind of stands there. Here's a shallow fly to right. Peralta's there, and they strand the 2-out double. We are through 4. Diamondbacks lead at 4-0. Happy birthday, Tuffy Gozawish, who is 32 years old today. And that is a gentleman holding up the happy birthday sign in the Sedona Red D-back shirt. That's his great uncle Fred. And some of Tuffy's cousins are here with us. So
hey,
happy
Fred.
Birthday, Tuffy.
Whose jersey are you wearing, Fred? Come on. Come on.
Turn around. There you go. Nice. There it is. How'd you pull that off?
I could throw my voice.
Is he wearing an IFB? So happy birthday, Tuffy. 32 today.
Absolutely. Happy birthday, Tuffy.
Ender Inciarte, the leadoff man, leads off the 5th against Garrett Cole. 4-0 Diamondbacks. They've out-hit the Pirates 7-2. An RBI double by Peralta, RBI single by Castillo in the 1st. Jeremy Hellickson got himself a knock and a stake in the 2nd, and Jake Lamb a solo homer in the 4th. All the Diamondbacks scoring. Ender down 0-2. Waves at that one and strikes out. That's 4 strikeouts for Cole. Inciarte 0 for 3.
Hey fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. A day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
A.J. Pollock tripled and scored in the 1st. He struck out looking his last time on. By the way, we should also mention it's another ASU Sun Devils birthday today. Dustin Pedroia, teammate of Tuffy's at ASU. Boog Powell.
Boog.
And Robert De Niro. You do with De Niro? Yeah, it's tough. A little bit. And do one a little bit. Yeah, a little bit you did.
A little bit.
Insulted him a little bit. Kind of like Mustache Man. Oh, 0-2 on AJ. Jung Ho Gung. He does not have a really smooth flowing throwing motion. It seems like he's got to kind of load up and then throws across his body. It's a little unusual.
There's a lot of tailing action. He's got to play that almost like a golfer playing a fade when he throws that ball across the diamond. Bare hand right on top of that ball, but then slings it across the diamond with some tailing action.
He can play third and short, playing a lot of both this year.
We got to fess up, partner. Tuffy's mom, Nancy, tipped us off that they were going to be here tonight with the sign. So we've been looking for him in the early part of the ball game and finally did discover.
But how did you get Uncle Fred to turn around? That's what I
have that kind of power.
Apparently. Pretty impressive.
You know, really, when you think about it, Nancy's the one we ought to be wishing a happy birthday to. She did all the work.
Nice work, Nancy. Oh, phone's blowing up. Uncle Fred. Yeah, they showed the jersey. Why is he sitting with a bunch of Pirates guys? That's what I can't figure out. Well, we're glad they're here. They're here on a beautiful night. And a good night to be a Diamondback, up 4-0 against Garrett Cole. Goldie down 1-2. Goldie had a pretty quiet series in Atlanta. 3 for 13, 6 strikeouts. He did drive in 3 runs. And he strikes out, chases a bad one there for his 2nd strikeout tonight, and the 5th of the evening for Garrett Cole, who works a 1-2-3-5. But the Diamondbacks have a 4-0 lead. Brought to you in part by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Mix One, great taste, no face, available at local retailers. A beautiful night along the rivers here in downtown Pittsburgh. Steve Berthune, Bob Brindley, and Todd Walsh along the way. Diamondbacks lead the Pirates 4-0 as we start the bottom of the fifth.
Now, you might be able to help me with this. One of the other broadcast crews, broadcasters, when they came in here to Pittsburgh, you know, the confluence of the three rivers. He said it's where the three rivers conflude. That can't be right.
I think it derived from congregate, but I could be wrong. From the Latin, which means where the rivers all run together. Neil Walker. Walker struck out his first time. Where they confluate?
Well, he just said where the three rivers conflude. And at first I said, that's not right.
Hey!
And then I started thinking about it. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll have to look that up.
The Allegheny, the Monongahela, and the Ohio Rivers. The confluence here in downtown Pittsburgh. 1-1 pitch. Conflu. That sounds past tense.
That's why you bring your glove. Nice play, young man.
It's a wonderful language.
Yeah, it is.
Two and two on Walker. Walker's hit only .240 since the All-Star break, but he does have 5 home runs in the second half of the year. Leading all National League second baseman and extra base hits. Ellickson at one point tonight retired 10 straight Pirates. He's given up just 2 hits. Sky high pop up. Very short right center. Who wants it? And the shift is on. Owings has it from his second base spot. That's the first out in the home half of the fifth. Pedro Alvarez. Alvarez tapped out in front of home plate his first time up. He's 0 for 1. An 11 for his last 24 up there. The bat is heated up lately. 249 for the year. Diamondbacks stay in the overshift for the left-hand hitting Alvarez. There it is. Alvarez requires a lot of patience, a lot of maintenance. He strikes out a ton, doesn't hit lefties, a big defensive liability, but he can hit home runs. In fact, since the start of the 2012 season, only Giancarlo Stanton has hit more home runs in the National League than Pedro Alvarez. Lifts this one up in the air, and this is another one. It's coming back. Nope, it's not. It just does catch that first few row of seats, hit way up high in the air, and Alvarez has done it again. He is now homered 4 times in 7 games. That's number 19, and the Pirates are on the board. That one was higher than the stadium light towers here, and came straight down into that first few rows of seats.
Just a towering blast this time. Came on a curveball. He timed it perfectly. I thought maybe he got under it a little bit too much, but just does sneak into the front row up there above the out-of-town scoreboard.
And Peralta was ready to play it off the wall, and that's a historic Pirate home run. They have now homered in a season-high 11 straight games overall. And that home run by Alvarez was the 1,000th for the franchise in its 15 seasons here in this ballpark. So 1,000 Pirate homers at PNC. And it's Alvarez who hits the historic long ball to make it 4-1. Francisco Cervelli.
Well, we talked a lot about this Pirates offense, and now they've been pretty much firing on all cylinders recently. 4-run lead, now a 3-run lead in this ballpark with this offense is not real comfortable. You'd like to tack on a few more to that 4 and continue to put zeros up if you're Jeremy Hellickson. It's a team that can jump back into a ball game in a hurry.
He strikes out Cervelli. That's 4 strikeouts for Jeremy, 2 down in the 5th. Yeah, the Pirates always play well here, it seems. They have won 4 straight and 15 of their last 18 here at PNC. Change up there. There's the pitcher, Garrett Cole. Two and 1.
Didn't miss by much.
Field and Culbreth back there, the crew chief. Or Cubby, as he's known by his fellow umpires. Hellickson behind on the pitcher. 3 balls and a strike with 2 outs. Joe Madden, who for years had Jeremy in Tampa Bay, Joe described Jeremy as kind of a dart thrower, the way he tries to pinpoint that fastball location. Sneaky quick, but he can be a bit of a nibbler with it, and he's behind on Cole. Over the mound, Nick Ahmed behind the bag, ranging way over there, almost toward right field. Nick makes a nice play, and they get Cole to end the inning. But the Pirates get one on the Alvarez homer. His 19th makes it 4-1. Here's what's next, brought to you by CenturyLink. Jake Lamb, we'll see him in the 6th. He homered his last time over. Pirates 4-1. Hey fans, now is the time. Tweet us your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag AZDataStrongFan. And you just might see yourself in an upcoming Diamondback TV broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. David Peralta, Wellington Castillo, and Jake Lamb 4, 5, and 6 against Garrett Cole. And because Cole made the last out in the home half of the fifth, he's a little slow to get his warm-up pitches in. They throw the clock out when that happens, when the pitcher or the catcher ends the previous half inning.
Mentioned David Peralta leading off the inning for the Diamondbacks, and we showed you this graphic a little while ago, but we updated it. Since David Peralta has been inserted into that 4 spot in the lineup behind Goldie, 51 games together as the 3 and 4 hitter, and you see the numbers that they've been able to put up, especially David cleaning up whatever Goldie happens to leave on base.
And you said it, cleaning up in that 4 spot. 335 with 42 RBIs. And tonight he has an RBI double. He scored a run in the first, flying out to center his last time up, 1 for 2. And David on a stretch right now over his last 29 games, during which he's hit better than .390 with 14 extra base hits and 27 RBIs in his last 29 games from the cleanup spot. That's hard to beat.
And it's not like he's sneaking up on anybody anymore. There's plenty of video scouting out there. There's plenty of highlight reels that people have seen of David Peralta. There's plenty of advanced scouting, and he still continues to rake.
Well, it's a great story that just keeps getting better when you consider his transformation, of course, from pitcher to hitter. And that's now been well documented. Finding his way through the wilderness of independent ball. And as his teammate Goldie put it, David a very short time ago was in a position where no team wants to sign you. No minor league team needs you. And yet you just keep going. And that's what he did. And now look where he is. And he's really earned the respect of his teammates just based on what he's been through and what it took to get here.
The perseverance and the confidence in your own ability just to be able to outlast everybody, continue to put up good numbers and make them take a look at you.
And then it was 2011 when David Peralta was playing as a Rio Grande Valley White Wing in the North American League, a league that doesn't even exist anymore. And then the next season he was a Wichita Wingnut in the American Association. He was playing in Amarillo, a 3rd season, 3 seasons of independent ball. It's not like he was there for 2 weeks or something. And finally the Diamondbacks latched onto him. And you remember last year he was not even in Major League camp in spring training, David Peralta. When he came up on June 1st after A.J. Pollock was hit by that Johnny Cueto fastball, we didn't even know who this guy was. We hadn't seen him. We just knew he'd done pretty well in Mobile. And he's doing even better here in the big leagues.
And if you're not familiar with the independent leagues, and there are many, many really well-run independent franchises out there, teams that are making money and paying their players and renting a bus so they can travel, but there's a lot of the independent teams that maybe don't do all those things. A lot of guys still waiting on paychecks, driving their own cars to out-of-town games. You really want to have to want to play baseball to go the route of independent league for 3 seasons the way David Peralta did.
Chris Carminucci is the D-backs scout who picked up on David Peralta when he was trying to get signed playing independent ball. And Chris said, in this game you have to learn how to fail and get back up and fight. And David in particular has done that. He's staying alive here as well. And from the moment he walked into that clubhouse last year, everyone in the Diamondback organization had instant respect for him because he came all the way back from, well, as we said, baseball wilderness. And now he's worked a 10-pitch at bat against Garrett Cole, one of the best pitchers in baseball. And as they say in independent ball, if you don't like where you are, play better.
Good point.
Right, that's what they say, and he did. And he's got another base hit. David Peralta, 2 for 3.
That at bat was a little like his career. Just keep battling and keep battling and keep battling, and ultimately ends up on first base with a hard grounder through that shift on the right side of the infield. 3 defenders stacked up over there, and David still grounds it through into right field. 10-pitch at bat that time for David Peralta.
Wellington Castillo, an RBI single tonight. Back in the first, he's 1 for 2. And we talk a lot about David and the credit that he gets for what he's accomplished here. I mentioned him a moment ago. We also have to credit Chris Carminucci, the Diamondbacks coordinator of independent scouting. He's the guy who is the boots on the ground at the lowest of low levels, looking for the hidden, the undiscovered gem. And he's the guy that found David in independent ball. This is the furthermost outpost of the pro baseball realm. It's the edge, the wilderness. And I mean, you know, Chris goes to Quebec, he goes to Nebraska, he goes to Laredo looking for guys. And he found one right there.
And it happens. I mean, David's not alone. A lot of guys kind of slip through the cracks, whether it's because of an ill-timed injury or a bad slump at a bad time in your career, and people look away and decide they like somebody else a little bit better. And you know, for those guys who have that burning desire to continue to play, the independent leagues are there for you to go showcase your talents.
And there goes David Peralta. Cervelli's throw is not in time. David Peralta, that's his 6th stolen base. Cervelli wants a challenge, maybe. Looking into the Pirate dugout.
Pretty good jump over there by David. Cervelli unloads quickly. His throw tails just a little bit. Snap tag that time by Neil Walker.
Manny Gonzalez, the second base umpire. It looks like he got a glove on the wallet there, and here comes Clint Hurdle. Field and Culbreth, the crew chief, is back there. He and Gonzalez will put the headsets on as the Pirates challenge.
Well, unfortunately, I'm going to go ahead and erase it. I put down stolen base. I think this is going to be overruled here.
I think you're right. And David Peralta was his own PR manager while he was playing all those years in independent ball. He would text Chris Carminucci all the time. Look, hey, I was 3 for 4. Hey, I was 2 for 3 with a double. And Chris, well, I know, I see it. I'm on you, don't worry. And eventually they found a spot for David at Visalia. And shortly after that, he's in the big leagues. Another look. It's another replay review brought to us by Mix One. Well, that's pretty clear cut.
David watching the replay on the big board here at the ballpark, using a little body English even on the replay, trying to get out of the way of that tag.
Can't tell definitively that there's clear space between the glove and the back of David, because that's what you're going to need to prove that he didn't. At the same time, you got clear and convincing evidence. You got to find some that proves that he did. Down there with Neil Walker.
Cervelli's a guy behind the plate for the Pirates. It's had some issues throwing out opposing base stealers this year. Only 11 out of 68. That's 16% on the season. Check the headphones coming off.
He is out at second. Pirates win the challenge, and that call is overturned. So it's a caught stealing. Peralta thrown out, and that's the first out in the 6th. So we take a look at our updated replay review standings, brought to you by Mix One. 2 balls and 1 strike is the count on Wellington Castillo, now with 1 out. Two and two.
Certainly changes Wellington Castillo's at bat. David Peralta getting called out at second base on appeal right there. Normally, Welly would be trying to move the ball to the right side of the field here or drive something in the gap to drive David home from second base. Now with nobody on, just looking for something he can drive.
Bounces one in the hole. Gong throws him out, 2 down. Well, there's Jake Lamb, who homered his last time up, his 5th of the year. That's our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game. Lamb with 1 out in the 4th gets it just over the fence in right center.
Measured it perfectly.
Jake 1 for 2. There's another one up in the air. This is out to Marte in left. And he's got it. That's the end of the inning. Bottom 6 coming up in Pittsburgh. 4-1 D-backs.
Backdrop is unbelievable. It's one of the better ones I've seen. So it's definitely a cool park. I'm sure it's going to be packed tonight and the whole series. So I'm really excited.
You'll be busy, but when the sun sets, you'll know what I'm talking about. That's all I'm going to say. Good luck.
All right. Thank you.
Todd Welch back here at PNC Park. Jake Lamb, of course, with his 5th home run of the year. I just wanted to give you a taste of what he said earlier about this place, as I mentioned, coming out earlier for the early BP, but he was talking about facing Cole here tonight, guys. I love what he said about the slider. Just try not to swing at that. That's the pitcher's pitch. Bob, you and I talked about that, of course, on the pregame show as well. Back to live action. Steve, take it away.
Thank you, Tom. Gregory Polanco, 0 for 2, leads off the Pirates' 6th against Jeremy Hellickson, who so far has given up just 3 hits. He's got 4 strikeouts and a 4-1 lead. And Jake actually talking about that hitter's background, that big green wall out there in dead center. He was bouncing him off the back of that wall in batting practice in straightaway center. Clanging a few off that big green wall.
And left-handed pull hitters have that natural target out there in right field. Those bleachers above the out-of-town scoreboard. It's only 320 down the line, as I mentioned. If you get all of it, you can hit it out in the river. So, yeah, I can see why a lefty would really like to come to this ballpark.
And great conditions tonight, just perfect. Swing and a miss by Polanco. And Jeremy, with that curveball and changeup, has made guys look silly all night long. Some awkward off-balance swings, and that was one right there. 4 strikeouts for Hellickson. He's yet to walk a batter. Carve this out to left center field. Ender Inciarte's there. 1 out. And Jeremy now at an even 80 pitches, 51 strikes. Starling Marte doubled in the first. He's 1 for 2. So Marte has already extended his now 13-game hitting streak against the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, one guy that should be paying particularly close attention to Jeremy Hellickson tonight is tomorrow night starter Chase Anderson. Very similar arsenal of pitches. Fastball in the low to mid 90s. A lot of them in the mid 90s since coming back from the DL. Big curveball, great straight changeup.
1-1. Well, those pitchers are working for him tonight.
It's just a great location. I mean, this is right where you want to throw a changeup. Started at the bottom of the strike zone, let it bottom out below the zone. If he swings at it and misses like he did on that pitch, that's good. If he puts it in play, it's even better. Quick ground ball out to one of your infielders.
1-2. Tried it again but missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Marte coming off a big July. He hit over 350 last month. But he's batting just 220 here in August. Tripling up on the changeup. Wellington Castillo. I don't know if it's him or Hellickson, but when Welly's back there, guys will do that a lot. Ruby does that, it seems, with his changeup, sometimes 2-3 times in a row.
He's actually thrown 4 changeups in a row in this at bat. Yeah, I mean, if that's your pitch and you have confidence in it and you feel a good release point on a given night, yeah, why not?
2-2. Comes in with a fastball. Marte gets a piece of it. Take a look at our Chevron upcoming pitching matchup. Speaking of Chase Anderson, he'll be out there tomorrow night against Francisco Liriano, the lefty, the veteran left-hander. Diamondback Live pregame show comes your way at 3:30 here on Fox Sports Arizona. Change up again. Little check swing roller to Owings, who bobbles it and has no play. Well, that was softly hit right to CO, but it's E4.
About as routine a ground ball as you can possibly get. Like a half check swing that time from Marte. A little hopper right to Chris Owings at second base. Last bounce may have come up a little bit. He tried to field it back up into his chest, but just couldn't recover in time to throw out Marte at first base.
And so now he's put a base runner on ahead of Andrew McCutchen, who's 0 for 2. He has struck out and grounded out. McCutchen really likes, it's not just Jake Lamb, he likes hitting here too. This year, 340 at PNC Park, just about 250 on the road. An all-star this season for the 5th straight year, Andrew McCutchen. Top 3 in the NL MVP voting each of the last 3 seasons. He won the award 2 years ago. Got a Gold Glove, 3 straight Silver Sluggers on the resume. Randall Delgado just activated today. Is warming up with the bullpen. Jamie Romack was sent down. Randall coming off that ankle injury suffered in Seattle on the last road trip. And Mike Harkey's going to make a mound visit here. Chip Hale as well will come out with Ken Crenshaw. They see something they don't like out there. Field and Culbreth, the crew chief, will escort them to the mound, and they'll look at Hellickson. There's Ken Crenshaw.
Remember, he had that cut or blister on his.
It was a blister on the right thumb that he suffered in Texas and had to come out in the 4th inning. And had an extended rest after that and has been just fine ever since. It's not like he's been grabbing at an arm or an elbow or looking fatigued or like anything's hurting out there.
I haven't seen any noticeable change in his stuff. But obviously something concerning enough to send most of the coaching staff and the head trainer out there to check on him.
And the way he's pitched tonight, get everybody out there. Make sure. He has looked terrific. Watch his legs. A little stretch. I mean, he might be cramping. It is hot here tonight.
Got a bit of humidity in the area, especially this afternoon.
0-1 on McCutchen. Bounce that one there. The blister for Jeremy was July 8th at Texas. Left after 4 innings. Did not pitch again until July 21st. So he did have some time to recover. Since that blister, he's made 5 starts, gone 2-3 with a 3.72 ERA. Ideally, just get him through this inning. He's about to throw pitch number 90 with Delgado warming up with the bullpen. Two and one. Heath Hessler, the left-hander, up as well. 90 pitches for Hellickson, 57 strikes. Starling Marte at first. 1 out, 2-1 on McCutchen. 3 balls and a strike. So what should have been a routine second out on the Marte ground ball has turned into a bit of a mess here for Hellickson. The error on Owens, and now a 3-1 count on McCutchen. I want to let these guys get back into the ball game. Ball 4. He's really lost his command here. That's the first walk that Jeremy has issued tonight. So it's first and second, 1 out for Aramis Ramirez, who is the tying run at the plate. And that's going to be it for Jeremy Hellickson. Here comes Chip Hale. He's got Delgado. I'm sorry, Bob. He's got Delgado back. They really like Randall in these situations, you know, mid-ball game somewhere.
Yeah, and for Jeremy, his command had been so good up until this inning. You know, either hitting his spot or missing in his favor, but just kind of lost it there those last couple hitters.
He pitched a terrific ball game here tonight. He leaves responsible for 2 base runners. Delgado is on. Back after this. His hand on his backside, trying to stretch out those leg muscles. Something clearly not quite right there. And so he's out of the ball game with 1 out and 2 on here in the 6th, and on for the Diamondbacks. Just back from the 15-day DL today, it's the right-hander Randall Delgado, who injured his ankle running agility drills in the outfield on the last road trip in Seattle. His 42nd appearance of the year. He's been very good in these spots. You know, 6th, 7th inning, getting the Diamondbacks out of trouble. A 2.79 ERA. He made a pair of minor league rehab appearances, one in rookie ball, another with AA Mobile. He's got Starling Marte at second, Andrew McCutchen at first, 1 out, and Aramis Ramirez, who doubled his last time up, steps in. Ramirez really hitting the ball well right now. 375 over his last 10 games with 11 RBIs. Coming off a 4-for-5 day yesterday at Citi Field against the Mets.
I'll tell you what, partner, we've got a spirited competition in the National League going on between Aramis Ramirez, Yunel Escobar, Jonathan Lucroy, and Casey McGee, tied at 17, most in the National League, grounding into double plays.
We'll take one of those right here, just what the doctor ordered. Not a great swing, 1-1. Come in against Delgado and just see more changeups. And that's that little sort of baby slider he's got back there too. Randall's behind, 2 balls and a strike. Big cut at that fastball. It's 2-2.
Ramirez is a guy that likes to work those favorable counts and then sit on a pitch. That time Randall just blew a fastball right by him, right in the heart of the plate.
Yeah, that was a pretty good location for Ramirez right there, but he just couldn't get a bat on it.
The Diamondbacks as a staff have done a nice job this year in double play situations. They rank 4th in the National League inducing double play balls. The Pirates are atop the list, followed by the Braves, the Rockies, and then the Diamondbacks.
Owings and Ahmed, the middle infield combo, want in on this meeting as everybody tries to get together. 2 on, 1 out, 2-2 on Ramirez.
Pretty lengthy meeting with both middle infielders and catcher involved out there, unless they think Marte's relaying something to the hitter. I can't imagine the reason for that meeting. I mean, if you're going to change the signs, that only takes a second.
Called strike 3. He got him. Delgado rings up Ramirez. 2 down.
Got him looking for something else. That's another center cut fastball.
Right at the knees. A big out number 2. Jung Ho Kang now. 0 for 2. He is grounded out and flied out. Gung stands straight up on that back leg. That front foot comes way up and just kind of hangs there for a while. Randall behind 2-0. Jung-Ho Kang has consistently improved as he plays his first season in the U.S. of the major leagues. This month, fewer ground balls. He's using the whole field a lot more often. Initially, he was up there trying to just pull everything like he did in Korea, but has hit the ball a lot harder, more often, and with more consistent contact. Not that time, however. 2-1. Randall really mixing it up here.
Well, the ability to throw something other than a fastball when you're behind in the count. That time 2-0, a very favorable hitter's count. Most guys are looking for a fastball, and Randall dropped a changeup on it.
Green 1. Neil Walker is on deck. He would be next. This inning, or the trouble in this inning, started with a Chris Owings error at second on the ball that Marte hit. Hellickson walked McCutchen, then had to come out of the ball game with some apparent discomfort, and his legs are back. And here's Delgado. He struck out Ramirez. Now 3-1 on Kang. It's full. Jeremy still stretching back there. 3-2. Here it is. There go the runners. This is bounced to Lamb. It backs him up at third. He gathers himself and throws it in time to get Kang. And Randall Delgado comes in and gets a strikeout and a ground ball to end the threat and keep it a 4-1 Diamondback lead as we go to the 7th inning. Jake Lamb at third. D-backs lead at 4-1.
Is brought to you in part by Card Power from Arizona Federal Credit Union. Now that's the power of us. And by Phoenix International Raceway. Join PIR on November 15th for NASCAR. Visit us at phoenixraceway.com and get your tickets now. A look across the river here from downtown Pittsburgh over the Clemente Bridge at PNC Park. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly, and Tom Walsh in here, where the Diamondbacks have a 4-1 lead. D-back Nation representing as we start the 7th. Garrett Cole is back out there for the Pirates. Diamondbacks have out-hit Pittsburgh 8-3. They lead at 4-1. And Chris Owings, who doubled and scored in the 2nd, leads off the 7th. So Cole creeping up quickly here on 100 pitches, back out there to begin the inning. Every game critical for the Pirates right now. They do have the 3rd best record in baseball, but they are 5 back of those crazy St. Louis Cardinals who just ran away and hid atop the NL Central. And neck in a wild card race. 2-1 now. So Cole comes back out to work the 7th.
Well, it really has been remarkable what the Cardinals have been able to do, given all the injuries they've had to withstand. No Matt Adams at first. Matt Holliday's been on the disabled list most of the season.
They just lost Grichuk, I believe, today or yesterday,
really?
too. Yeah. 100 pitches for Cole. He's behind 3-1.
Cardinals just keep rolling.
And now the bullpen gets busy. Joe Blanton, the veteran, warming up for the Pirates. Blanton actually worked 3 innings and got the win Saturday in New York. His 2nd win with Pittsburgh. Had 6 strikeouts. Chris Owings, good at bat there by CO. He lays off the 3-2 pitch down and away and works a walk. First walk issued by Garrett Cole. Brings up Nick Ahmed. Well, we have a moment. Let's, as promised, give you our Data Strong fan photo of the game, brought to you by T-Mobile. Using the hashtag AZDataStrongFan. Carla, you're a winner, Carla. Nice photo there with Grayson Gracie, who is just frankly unbeatable these days. Ever since he won on Randy Johnson 90, I don't think he's lost since.
He's kind of been the St. Louis Cardinals of the Legends race. Run away and hide.
That's brought to you by T-Mobile. Nick singled his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Trying to bunt for a base hit, but that roll is foul.
Now Jared Saltalamacchia has made his way out into the on-deck circle and would hit for Randall Delgado in that pitcher spot. This is probably the only time you'll see a number 8 hitter bunting a runner into scoring position when you know there's a pinch hitter coming up behind you.
Trying to pad that 4-1 lead. See if you can get CO at least home from first. There goes Owings. He's off with a pitch. The throw from Cervelli is in time. They got him. 2nd time tonight, Francisco Cervelli has thrown out a Diamondback base stealer. He got Peralta back in the 6th. That time he gets Owings first out in the 7th.
For a guy that's only thrown out 16% on the season, he's thrown a couple of shots right down there on the bag. Good pitch to handle. Up a little bit, brought him right out of his crouch, and a nice pick at the other end by Neil Walker. Played that on a short hop and got the tag down in time to get CO.
Owings eliminated. 1-1 on Ahmed. Hard to third, right to Ramirez. 2 down. And now Jared Saltalamacchia announced as the pinch hitter for Randall Delgado. Salty 1 for 4 with a double in his start behind the plate Saturday in Atlanta. He's at 189 for the year, 4 homers. He also had a pinch hit single in the 8th inning yesterday, right after Nick Ahmed broke up the Shelby Miller no-hitter.
And you mentioned the roster move earlier. Randall Delgado activated off the disabled list, and Jamie Romack shipped back down to Reno, which means you're back down to a 4-man bench once again.
But they need all the bullpen help they can get on this rest of this 10-game homestand. Or road trip, pardon me. You had the day off in Atlanta Thursday, and then it's 10 games in 10 days. Oh, 0-2. He got an extra inning if he gets through this out of Garrett Cole. He's at 109 pitches right now. His season high is 116. And he's gone over 100 for the 14th time this year here tonight. 109 pitches, 76 strikes. Salty reaches out and drops it into left center, a base hit. 2-out base runner for Ender Inciarte. Well, Jared Saltalamacchia has had a really nice bat lately. He's had a good August.
His numbers aren't pretty when you look at the stat sheet, but if you base it on his quality of at bats, he's not an easy out. He makes that opposing pitcher throw a lot of pitches. He'll take his walks. If you make a mistake on him, he can hit it out of the ballpark.
Clint Hurdle is going to double switch here. Pedro Florimon is going to come in and replace Gung at shortstop. And it looks like Blanton will come in for Cole. Gong made the last out in the bottom of the 6th, so it's a new shortstop and pitcher for the Pirates. We take a break. D-backs lead at 4-1. Very good bullpen, and it's the former starter Joe Blanton on in relief of Garrett Cole. Blanton, there you go, 4 appearances with the Pirates so far. This is number 5. He will bat in the 5th spot now as Pedro Florimon replaces Jung Ho Gung at shortstop. The double switch by Clint Hurdle. Florimon bats 9th.
Salty at first, 2 outs. Ender and Ciarte 0 for 3. Blanton has made 3 straight scoreless appearances out of the Pirate bullpen. There's Pedro Florimon. Only 13 games with Pittsburgh this year. Blanton quickly ahead 0-2. Ender last 13 games batting almost .350. But hitless tonight 0 for 3. He has twice grounded out and struck out. And strikes out for the second time. Blanton comes in and strands the runner. We stretch at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Diamondbacks have a 4-1 lead. Against the Cardinals coming up at Chase Field next week, August 24th through the 27th. You can bring the whole family down and join us at the ballpark with a D-backs value pack. For only $19, you'll get your ticket to the game, a Subway sandwich, a Pepsi, and a coupon for a free cookie. And the value pack is available for any game this year. Just visit dbacks.com/value. Bottom 7 in Pittsburgh, 4-1 Diamondbacks. And the left-hander Keith Hessler is on for the Arizona Diamondbacks out of the bullpen. And Hessler in a lefty specialist role here, his 5th appearance in the big leagues.
And part of your role as a lefty specialist is to turn switch hitters around to their weaker side of the plate. That's the case with Neil Walker leading off here for the Pirates. He's a switch hitter, has 12 home runs on the season. All have come as a left-handed hitter.
And by far better as a left-hand hitter, so they flip him around. He's batting about 25 points higher compared to the right-hand side. There you go. And they have a lefty in Pedro Alvarez. Behind Walker, Alvarez really struggles against left-handers, so it makes sense to go with Hessler here to open up the 7th.
And Addison Reed warming in the Diamondbacks bullpen. Could be a 2-batter appearance here for Hessler.
And Cervelli in the hole in the gate spot. 1-1. Here's Addison Reed. You can only guess that he's getting ready for Cervelli. It's 3rd in the inning. Two and 2 on Walker.
Neil Walker, the hometown boy from Gibsonia, Pennsylvania. Pirates took him out of high school there with a first-round pick back in '04, the 11th overall selection. And he grew up watching those great Pirates teams of the early '90s. Barry Bonds, Bobby Bonilla. A slow roller that just does go foul in front of the bag.
Mike LaValliere.
Spanky. Jim Leland, the manager of those great teams. That's before Tim Wakefield was even a knuckleball pitcher. He was on some of those teams.
And one of the great pitching coaches in the history of the game, Ray Miller. Boy, you want to talk about a simple philosophy of pitching. Work fast, throw strikes, change speeds. That was it. You do those three things, you'll have success at this level. Work fast, throw strikes, change speeds. Of course, when you're telling it to Doug Drabek,
that'll work. Doug Drabek coaching in Hillsborough right now. This does get a piece of that fastball. Of course, after those teams kind of faded away, the early '90s Pirates, it was two really lean decades. And now here is Neil Walker playing for his hometown team and helping to create a baseball resurgence both in the city and within the organization.
Wearing Andy Van Slyke's old number 18.
Just inside there, and it's full, 3-2. Fly ball, left field, Ender Inciarte. One away. Speaking of the Hillsborough Hops, let's take a look at our State Farm report of the ball game. Dansby Swanson, the 1-1, playing shortstop with Hillsborough, 1 for 5 yesterday. And in 4 games so far with the Hops, he's got 2 doubles, a triple, and 4 RBIs. That'll work.
He's just glad to be playing baseball again after getting hit in the head very early on in an extended spring game.
In his first at bat, he was hit in the face by Yohan Lopez. Cuban signee, and then had concussion symptoms for a couple of weeks afterwards. Pedro Alvarez a little better this year against left-handers. It's usually a disaster for him, but they have really limited the sample size. And so the numbers for Alvarez against lefty a little better than they usually are. Usually they're just dreadful. Only 45 plate appearances all year versus left-hand pitchers. He homered his last time up against Telexon, his 19th of the year. And he's got a base hit. Where'd that hit off of?
He could either hit Hessler in the foot or possibly hit the rubber and shot straight up in the air.
It's a base hit for Alvarez. He's 2 for 3. Yeah, Hessler's limping a little bit out there. Hard to see if it hit either the mound or his foot. Here comes Ryan DePanfilo.
Alvarez does not run well. Yeah, got him on the foot. And once again, if that ball's caught before it hits the ground, it's an out. Never touched the ground right there. It hit Hessler's foot and shot high in the air. Unfortunately, nobody could get to it in time.
Now, the same thing happened last week to David Hernandez when he took one in the ankle. And they're going to, you figure, take him out anyway with a right hand hitting Cervelli coming up. And so they'll go back to the bullpen. Still 4-1 Diamondbacks back after this. Bat. It's the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. And you can get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or tablet. Addison Reed up to face Francisco Cervelli, who's got some Dino playing on the PA for his walk-up.
That's Amore. Moon hit your eye like a big pizza pie.
Not all these people get in my room. Cervelli 0 for 2. Dean Martin would walk out on stage in Vegas and have a drink in his hand. How'd all these people get in my room? Addison behind 2-0 on Cervelli, who has flied out and struck out. 6 home runs this year, a career high for Cervelli. 7 years with the Yankees, mostly in a backup role. This is inside, and it's 3 balls and no strikes. After the double switch, the light-hitting Pedro Florimon, the shortstop, is on deck. Pitcher spot is 5th now in the Pirate order. There's a strike, 3-1. Missed down and in. So a pair of 1-out base runners will bring the tying run to the plate in the 7th. And they have recalled Florimon now with 2 on and 1 out, and the former Giant and former Pirate for that matter, Travis Ishikawa, will take the at bat. Ishikawa 193 this year with both the Giants and the Pirates. He started in left field yesterday against the Mets in New York and had a pair of hits. Mike Harkey to the mound.
It's good to try to steal some of the momentum back here from the Pirates. This crowd was taken out of the ball game early tonight. 2 runs for the D-backs in the first, another run in the second, and they've kind of been sitting on their hands waiting for something to cheer for. Don't want to give them any reason to develop any momentum here. This Pirates team really feeds off the emotion of their home crowd.
Well, Ishikawa from the left-hand side has got some power. They can tie it up with 1 swing right here.
Not to mention the fact the Pirates have 34 come from behind wins this season. Throw that ground ball right here. Get back in the dugout.
Ishikawa, his second tour through Pittsburgh. He played 15 games with the Pirates last season and then went back to the Giants, the team that originally drafted him. Wound up hitting a walk-off homer to win the pennant for San Francisco last year. Giants waived him last month, and now here he is back in Pittsburgh. Alvarez is the runner at second, Cervelli at first, 1 out, and it's Reed and Ishikawa. There's a strike going on.
Looked a little down, might have gotten the benefit of the doubt. Looked a lot down on our Fox tracks.
Field and Culbreth back there. A ball and a strike. Addy so far 7 pitches, 5 of them balls. That's in the seats on a play. Pirates still have only 4 hits. And Alvarez, who's on second, has 2 of them, a homer and a single. This down and in, it's even 2-2. Base hit. They will stop Alvarez at third. The bases are loaded with 1 out.
The pitch down, gets the ground ball he's looking for. Unfortunately, it finds that hole on the right side of the infield. Third base coach Rick Sofield immediately threw up the stop sign down there at third base with the top of the Pirates order making their way to the plate now with the bases loaded.
And boy, Clint Hurdle running through his bench quickly here. Sean Rodriguez will run for Ishikawa after Ishikawa hit for Florimon. Gregory Polanco 0 for 3. He's got a 10-game hitting streak on the line, and during that streak, he's hit .435 with 3 homers. Bases full, 1 out. Alvarez at third, Cervelli at second, Rodriguez at first. That's out of play. Polanco 2 hits yesterday in their win in New York over the Mets. He's got 20 hits in his last 49 at bats. Almost the same spot. Addison is ahead 0-2. Polanco with those long arms and limbs, 6'5", will struggle against guys that can get it up mid-90s.
Especially if you can locate in.
Tie him up inside.
Yeah, from the belt up. Really has trouble catching up to that pitch because of the length of his swing. And as you said, he's got long arms. He can really cover that outside corner. Not always quick enough to get to the ones inside.
Missed away, a ball and 2 strikes. Polanco, 7 home runs on the year. He homered Saturday in New York. That hits him. It's a run.
Hung on to that slider a little bit too long. Very nearly clipped Polanco in that back foot. That is a true back foot slider. When you hit the guy in the foot.
Mission accomplished. Although that would have made it a 4-2 game. So the quick feet worked in the Diamondbacks' favor that time. It's 2-2.
If that would have been the on-deck hitter, he would have been hit by that pitch. Starling Marte
leads the planet. Chased a high fastball, and they get a big strikeout there. Polanco's out, 2 down. And now we'll try to avoid the Marte parte.
A nice job that time by Addison Reed. Stays down, gets a foul ball off to the left side, elevates a fastball away, gets another foul ball, missed just off the corner. The back foot slider sets up another high fastball. Blew it right by Polanco that time.
Bases full, 2 down. Starling Marte. A double in the first. He has one of the 5 Pirate hits. Now you mentioned, Bob, he has a remarkable talent for getting hit by the ball. Since the start of the 2013 season, Marte has been hit by a pitch 54 times. That's the most in the majors.
Well, he was a hitter earlier this season when Scherzer had the perfect game going, right? Stuck his elbow out in front of a breaking ball.
That was
Top of it. That's right. My bad.
They had to trade him. That got so bad. He's got the elbow to lean in there, that's for sure. The elbow guard. This is in the air to short right along the line. A long run for Peralta in foul ground, and he runs it down. The freight train almost into the seats that time, and Addison Reed gets a strikeout and a fly ball and leaves them loaded. Here comes Peralta. Had a busy night over there. We are through 7. It's 4-1 D-backs. The Cox Gig Life high-speed highlights high above. Beautiful PNC Park in downtown Pittsburgh. Steve Berthune, Bob Brentley, and Todd Walsh with you as we start the 8th inning. And the Pirates on their 3rd shortstop of the ball game. Now Sean Rodriguez takes over for Pedro Florimo. And A.J. Pollock leads it off against Joe Blanton. A little looper that Rodriguez will back up and run down in short left center for the first out. Here's Goldie. By the way, we are told that all the stretching we saw Jeremy Hellickson doing was mostly a result of dehydration. Jeremy has been sick and not feeling well and is really dehydrated. It's a warm and muggy night here tonight. And it did look like he was cramping up just based on the way he was stretching and just trying to get that cramp out of there. So we're told it's only mostly dehydration and cramping for Jeremy, and that's certainly good news. Goldie 0 for 3. He has struck out twice. And the strikeouts have been piling up lately. Goldie in the series in Atlanta struck out 6 times. A couple of punch outs here tonight. in a ballpark in which he has always hit very well. He's a .425 career hitter at PNC Park with 7 extra base hits. And a very good job by Diamondbacks pitchers, Bob, to keep this a 4-1 game. Jeremy, before he left the ball game, did a nice job of working out of trouble. He wasn't often in trouble, but when he needed to make some big pitches, he did. And then Addison Reed struck out Polanco and got Marte to fly out. And so the Pirates just 1 for 8 tonight with runners in scoring position. Big reason why it's still 4-1 D-backs.
Now Cervelli with a flashback to Manny Sanguillen here. Look at this catcher stance. Tony Pena.
A couple of great Pirates catchers. This is on the ground. Rodriguez has to come in at shortstop. 2 down. David Peralta now doing David Peralta things. He's started that category. A couple of hits, a RBI double. He scored in the first, a single his last time up, 2 for 3.
He's been busy defensively in right field. 5 fly balls and a number of other balls hit out that direction that he's had to at least pursue before they went foul.
It's a slow roller that just does go foul. No, fair ball. Picked it up in fair territory, so Alvarez applies the tag and Peralta's out. And that's the end of the 8th inning. No challenge from the Diamondbacks on the close play at first. Here's another look. Alvarez picks it up.
Looked like it was right on the line.
4-1, bottom 8 coming up.
The doubleheaders, the Giants look to improve their playoff chances as they take on these wild card leading Buccos, followed by the Rangers battling the Tigers. Coverage begins at 12:30 p.m. Pacific on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Heart of the order coming up for the Pirates in their 8th inning. McCutchen and Ramirez will lead it off. 4-1 Diamondbacks, and the new pitcher for Arizona, who's been busy lately. He worked Friday and Saturday in Atlanta. It's the right-hander Daniel Hudson. Huddy 12 pitches Friday, 12 pitches on Saturday. Remember, he gave up that long homer Saturday to Nick Swisher when he came on in the 8th inning at Turner Field. And for Daniel, his 46th appearance. So Hudson out there.
third time in 4 days. McCutchen 0 for 2 with a walk will lead it off. He has struck out, grounded out, and walked. Hits it toward the right field corner. Peralta looks up and it's out of play. Diamondbacks have the shift on. They overload the left-hand side against the right-hand hitting McCutchen. Goldie all by himself over there midway between first and second. Two balls and a strike. McCutchen strikeout prone lately. 12 strikeouts in his last 26 at bats. And he misses up that time, and it's 3-1.
The location he was looking for with that what appeared to be a straight changeup at 85 right at the top of the strike zone, but does not get the call from Field and Culbert that time.
.97 right by McCutchen. 3-2.
Good old country hardball. I'm behind in the count 3-1 to one of the best hitters in the game. I'm just going to throw my best fastball right down the middle of the plate and see what happens. That time he blew it right by him.
Fifth best OPS in the National League. Andrew McCutchen can do a lot of damage. Reaches out and hits it right to Goldie. Away from the shift, and he was in the perfect spot. 1 out. That was almost a sure double.
You know, that's something we don't talk about a lot. The guy that is playing all by himself on the other side of the field. Look how far off the bag Goldie is. He's about almost halfway to second base. I mean, that's an important part of the shift too. That backside of the defense, if you will. And that time Goldie in a perfect spot.
Helps to have a Gold Glover over there as well. Aramis Ramirez a double in the fourth. He has struck out twice, 1 for 3. That's in the seats and out of play. 0-1.
You mentioned Ramirez coming back home again, if you will, the organization that he started with. He's still looking to play in his first World Series.
There's 18 years.
18 years. 43 players in the history of the game that played over 2,000 games and never played in a World Series. 3 of them are active. Aramis Ramirez, Ichiro, and Torrey Hunter.
Short center. AJ has to come in a long way, but he's under it. And he's got it for the second out. Well, another bat that the Pirates have acquired here down the stretch to solidify that bench. We've seen Ishikawa. And now it's big Mike Morse, who we saw earlier this year with the Marlins. He'll hit for the pitcher spot. Pitcher spot is 5th in the Pirate order after the double switch. So Morse gets the AB at .215 and 4 home runs with both Miami and Pittsburgh.
And this pretty much blows up Clint Hurdle's bench, so he only has Chris Stewart, the backup catcher, available at this point.
Morse 3 for 12 since he arrived in Pittsburgh, all singles. He's been used mostly just like this as a pinch hit option for Clint Hurdle. He's not had a good year after getting a 2-year, $16 million free agent contract with Miami last December. And the day before the trade deadline, the Marlins sent Morse to the Dodgers in the Matt Latos deal. The next day, LA flipped him here for Jose Tabata. How do you head 0-2? So we've seen here in this ball game a couple of guys that had big home runs in the NLCS for the Giants last year. First Ishikawa, and now Morse had a big pinch hit home run in the 8th inning of Game 5 against the Cardinals that tied it 3-3. Got a base hit into center. Now Neil Walker will get a chance to hit with 1 on and 2 outs. Walker tonight 0 for 3. And he'll bat once again from the left-hand side. That's where he's got all of his 12 homers this year. And the Diamondbacks will put the shift back on. This time they'll overload the right-hand side and leave Nick Ahmed all by himself on the left. Ball 1.
Well, you'd like to end it right here with Pedro Alvarez lurking in that on-deck circle. He's already homered once in the ball game tonight, giving him a new career high, and he's 2 for 6 lifetime against Daniel Hudson. Both hits left the yard, so you want to bear down right now on Neil Walker.
If Alvarez gets up, he's the tying run. Bullpen quiet for the Diamondbacks, and Huddy behind 2-0. Here comes Beef. Third time in 4 days that Daniel has been out there. That's a lot of work for a guy coming off 2 Tommy Johns, but he's the 8th inning man.
I ran into him on the elevator the other day. I asked him how he'd been feeling. That was after he had gone back-to-back days. He says, surprisingly, I feel really good. I feel like I could pitch again today. That was a couple of days ago. So as you see Brad Ziegler beginning to crank it up.
Well, the 4-out save might have to become an option here. 2-0 on Walker. There's a strike. 2-1. 96 from Daniel. So that leaves, with Huddy on the road trip, that leaves Mrs. Sarah Hudson and little Baylor and the dog back home alone. You were talking about dogs the last time Huddy was out there, and your love for dogs. And Sarah sent us a tweet saying, does Bob want our dog? Apparently he had eaten a sofa cushion. Over the head of Ahmed and into left. And Alvarez will indeed come up as the tying run with 2 outs in the 8th. Two-out singles by Morrison and Walker. And here comes trouble. Mike Harkey to the mound. Alvarez, who's already homered, as Bob mentioned, once tonight, has homered 4 times in the last 7 games. This was his 1-out home run in the 5th off Jeremy Hellickson, a hanger. He hit a mile up in the air.
He really did. I didn't know if it had enough distance. Too high. But it did just get into that front row out there in straightaway right field.
And the man known as El Toro will step in. Long conference at the mound. Fielden Colbreth is out there, but Mike Harkey's going to get his message across one way or the other. As Ziegler continues warming up with the bullpen. And Alvarez, as he steps in here, is red hot. He's got 13 hits in his last 26 at bats. Tying run at the plate, 2 outs.
Slight delay while Wellington Castillo steps out in front of home plate to alert the infielders where he's going to throw the ball should they attempt a double steal. And with a dead pull left-handed hitter, I would assume in the event of a double steal, he's going to throw straight to third base.
Pirates 1 for 8 tonight with runners in scoring position. That's in the seats and out of play. It's 0-1. 97 from Huddy.
Yeah, 2 for 6 lifetime with a couple of homers. He has struck out 4 times, however. That's a number I like better.
He has been an RBI machine lately, counting tonight Alvarez. 18 RBIs in his last 24 games. Morse is the runner at second, Walker at first. Ball one. Pulls that one foul. A ball and 2 strikes. Well, we saw Addison Reed work his way out of trouble to end a Pirate threat in the 7th. Got a strikeout in the fly ball. Now Huddy trying to do the same in the 8th. 2 on and 2 out. And he strikes out Alvarez. Daniel Hudson strands 2 and ends the Pirate threat. Comes up with a big-time strikeout of the red-hot Pedro Alvarez to strand 2 and keep it a 4-1 ball game. He's fired up. Good job by the Diamondbacks pitchers tonight, as they've held a very good hitting Pirate team to 1 run on 7 hits. It's a 4-1 Diamondback lead. David Peralta 2 for 4. Jeremy Hellick's done a good job tonight. Had to leave with dehydration. He's been under the weather lately and had some cramps, but before he left he did a very good job against this Pirate lineup. Change up and curveball working.
Yeah, really had it going on. Fastball command was good. Everything was down, 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 except for those occasions where he wanted to elevate the fastball. Just really good once again tonight for Jeremy Hellickson.
And you can see him stretching in the dugout after he came out of the ball game, fighting the cramps as a result of dehydration. He's got a little touch of the flu bug. And all things considered, if he's not feeling well, he really pitched a terrific ball game. Joakim Soria on from the Pirate pen. He'll work the 9th. Started out this year with 23 saves and 26 chances in Detroit, and was acquired by the Pirates in midseason. Wellington Castillo leads off the Arizona 9th. Castillo, Lamb, Owings 5, 6, and 7 against Soria. And Beef had an RBI single back in the 1st. He went. Jim Reynolds down at first.
Yes, he did. Up here on the surface of the moon, it's tough to tell with the naked eye. We have to look at the replay, and Wellington did go too far that time.
It's a lovely view, maybe the best in baseball, but we are up here a bit. Almost directly overhead. Soria pitched for the Pirates yesterday. They beat the Mets in New York 8-1. He retired all 3 he faced as they got the sweep at Citi Field. Reaches out and hits a slow roller to third. Ramirez charges and throws it out. Well, there's Jake Lamb, who says he loves the batter's eye here, loves the feel, loves the short right field fence of this ballpark. And he homered in the 4th inning. He's 1 for 3. Well, you hear a pin drop in this place right now. It is quiet as a mouse. Here where all the rivers conflude.
Yeah. And I'll give it up to the PA, whoever's running the PA here at PNC Park. They've been trying to get the crowd into it, playing dance music between innings and showing videos up on the big board between innings, trying to get them fired up. But as soon as the ball game starts, everybody sits on their hands again. That's the way we like it.
27,365 here tonight. 1-2 on Lamb. This was Jake with 1 out in the 4th. It just did get into that first row of seats in right center.
A line drive variety as opposed to Pedro Alvarez's skyscraper out there to right field. Jake's was a line drive into the front row in right center.
Called strike 3. Brings up Chris Owings, who has doubled and walked. He's also scored a run. Well, the Diamondbacks yesterday had a chance to win that series. In Atlanta, they were almost no hit by Shelby Miller. Lost it on the Maben walk-off in the 10th. And the Braves took 2 of 3. This is a big game for him against a very good Pirate team. 3rd best record in baseball. A chance to start this series with a win. Get back to within 1 game of 500 and gain some ground. Dodgers are off tonight. Giants tied up 1-1 in the 8th at St. Louis. Nationals and Cubs in the wild card race. They're both off.
Especially if you can beat the other team's ace in game 1 of a series. And there's no doubt that Garrett Cole is the ace of this Pirates staff.
D-backs came in 9 back of the Dodgers in the division, 10 off the wild card. So a chance to thin the herd a bit tonight. And you know the Pirates are watching that Giants-Cardinals score in St. Louis too. Looks like they're headed for yet another wild card game in Pittsburgh. It would be right here. 0-2 on Owings.
Now, since they went to the 2 wild card team format back at the 2012 season, the Central Division's been well represented. The Cards were there in 2012 as a wild card representative. Pirates and the Reds in 2013. The Pirates again last year. And there's a chance it could be the Pirates and Cubs this year.
3 playoff teams from 1 division. Cubs have been rolling lately. Short right center. Polanco has it. And that's the end of the top of the 9th inning. So here we go with Brad Ziegler. He'll come on with a 4-1 lead. Pittsburgh. Diamondbacks lead the Pirates 4-1. And the closer is on. It's Brad Ziegler. D-backs trying to win the opener here with this 3-game set. And this is the guy that's been the money man at the back end of this bullpen box.
Yeah, you see his numbers on the season. His 51st appearance this year. 18 straight saves for Brad Ziegler. In June, he was 9 out of 9 with an ERA of 0.82. In July, 6 for 6 with an ERA of 0.77. So far, 2 for 2 in the month of August. He does have a lofty ERA in August because he gave up a few runs just getting an inning of work against the Nationals.
There you go. 18 consecutive saves, moving up the list in D-backs history. Francisco Cervelli leads off the Pirate ninth. He walked his last time up. He's 0 for 2. So it will be Cervelli, Rodriguez, and Polanco. 8, 9, and 1 for Pittsburgh. This is anytime you can get a win over this team in this ballpark, you're doing something right. Pirates have won 15 of their last 18 here at PNC Park. And if the D-backs can hold on, it would be just the Pirates' third loss all year against an NL West team. They are 14-2 versus the National League West. But Ziegler quickly falls behind. 3 balls and no strikes. Don't want to put any base runners on here if you can avoid it. Bullpen has had to wiggle off the hook all night long. That's in there. Leadoff walk. Sean Rodriguez, the third Pirate shortstop on the night, heading now in the 9th spot. 222 and 3 home runs.
Boy, Brad consistently missing out there off the outside corner with that sinking, tailing fastball. Normally that's his bread and butter, his money pitch. He can throw that for a strike almost whenever he wants to. Really having trouble finding the zone here to the first 2 hitters.
6 pitches so far, only 1 strike.
Another one over there.
Mike Harkey quickly out to the mound.
That's one of those things you'd like to think a pitcher could self-correct. And every time he's missed away, 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 occasionally up and away. Make some kind of an adjustment out there on the rubber, or at least pick a better target to try to get that ball back into the strike zone.
There's a strike, 2-1. Must have been a good speech.
Good meeting.
Bounced over the mound. Ahmed 4-1 and make it 2. And our Arizona Federal Credit Union power players of the game will be the Diamondback bullpen. We saw Addison Reed pitch his way out of trouble in the 7th. Daniel Hudson stranded 2 in the 8th. And now Brad Ziegler 1 out away from nailing down a 4-1 D-back win.
Yeah, all following another good start by Jeremy Hellickson. Unfortunately had to come out because of some dehydration issues, but the bullpen has made it stand up.
Gregory Polanco, last man standing for the Pirates. He's 0 for 4. Got a 10-game hitting streak on the line.
That's the thing about Brad Ziegler. He might lose the zone for a hitter or 2 hitters.
You never really panic. You know, he walked the first guy, it was down 2-0, and you're thinking, uh-oh, here you go with another guy. You'd think that. Not here.
You don't see even fly ball outs very often when Brad Ziegler's on the mound. They're going to hit it on the ground if they hit it, and when they do that, more often than not, they're able to turn those double plays.
And here is the final ground ball out of the ball game, and the Diamondbacks get a hard-earned 4-1 win over a good Pirates team to open up this 3-game set here in Pittsburgh. And anytime you can beat these guys anywhere, especially in this ballpark, that's a win to be proud of.
Absolutely. This is a team that has really been playing some good baseball lately. We talked about their offense up and down the order, pounding the ball, as you see Brad Ziegler moving up that franchise list with his 19th consecutive save.
And the Diamondbacks get in the win column. They are now 58-59 on the season, a game under 500. And they'll look to Chase Anderson to try and get to the level par mark for the year tomorrow night in Game 2 of our 3-game series at PNC Park. Diamondback Live post-game show is next. Todd Walsh has all the reaction from the D-backs clubhouse. Todd's on the field down there right now getting some sound. We got it started in the first. 2 runs. The Peralta RBI double. The Beef RBI single. Lamb added a homer in the 4th, and that was more than enough. They got some pitching, some defense, and some offense. And they get a 4-1 win. They out-hit the Pirates 9-7. Diamondback Live postgame show is next on Fox Sports Arizona. Back with more from Pittsburgh right after this.